I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up!
That's right. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I hope my mic sounds nice for you this morning. I am John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life. Thank you all for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. On this show, we talk about fitness-related content from a home gym perspective, and we get your live reactions along the way. Key word, live reactions. So that means I need, if you guys are watching right now, I need you to get active in the live chat. All right, don't just watch. I know we got a fair number of lurkers out there, but do not just be don't just watch this like it's TV. I want to interact with you. I want to see your comments pop up in the comment section because that's what makes this show special. So let me go ahead and tell you what's going on today. In the first hour, we'll have news and other things, plus a brand new Recliner of Rage, our most popular segment. I'll tell you guys why I'm mad this week. And then in the second hour, which will be 6 a.m. Central Time, Matthew Porter and Nate Woods from Executive Fit LLC will join the show. They've got a collaboration that they want to let you guys know about. Matthew told me about it last month, and we just decided it was best to just bring it out on the show. So he and Nate are on, and I'm excited to hear from them about the collaboration. Plus, we're going to get a sneak preview of what each of them will be taking to HomeGymCon. And then in the third hour, I'm going to do a quick recap of the Music City Fit Expo, my experience there. Plus, we're going to do React and Respond. I guess that's technically a React and Respond as well. I'll be reacting to my experience at Music City Fit Expo. Yeah, so now that you guys know what's going on, go ahead, smash that like button for me. Hit subscribe. And also, if you have not done so, this is your chance. Share this link with somebody who you think might enjoy watching the show, because that is exactly the way that we grow. And so that's the number one way that you guys can help. Hit like, hit subscribe, and share the link. All of that is completely 100% free. All it costs you is a little bit of time. So I appreciate your support. All right, now let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody in the live chat. So first one in the building is Jared Martin. He says, good morning and happy Friday. What's up, Jared? Let's see, my guy T-Dog said, wake up, wake up, wake up. Jared said, it's not silky smooth. Well, that could actually be my voice because my allergies have struck again. And so, actually, let me pull this right here. Yeah, my allergies have struck again. And so I'm not going to be, I'm not telling you I'm not going to be doing any yelling. Okay, I didn't promise that. I never promised that. But I will not be doing as much. Let's see. The yelling will be a little bit more controlled. Let's put it like that. All right. Let's see. And let's see. Trevor said, so Trevor is the host of the Disgruntled PMs podcast. And he said, I was a guest on there. I guess that I was a guest on there in May, and I had a good time. And he said my episode killed it on YouTube. So thanks for coming on. Man, I appreciate it. I always appreciate the opportunity to be a guest on anybody's podcast, whether they're just starting out or they've been out for a while. And I don't ever look at that as like, I look at it as it's helping me, because even if, and Trevor's got more followers and subscribers than this, but I'm just saying, even if somebody invited me on their show and they only had 5 subscribers, that might be 5 subscribers who don't know me and what I do. So that's an opportunity to get 5 more subscribers. So I don't take any of it for granted. I appreciate you for having me on. My guy, Carlos said, I'm always sharing to everybody. I know you are, man. I appreciate that. Then we got Nick DeLeo. He said, morning, man. Currently lifting in the home gym while listening to this. Hey, that is exactly what this show is designed for. It's for people to get their day started, whether they're working out or they are out. Well, it's pretty much summertime here in the States, so a lot of dropping kids off at school isn't going on right now, but it's designed to so you can have something to listen to while you're dropping your kids off at school. That's one reason why I say we keep it family friendly, because I don't want your kids learning any new words they don't need to learn from me or my guests. All right, so let's see. We got some people missing from the comment section. I don't see Eric Eccles. I don't see Matthew Port. Well, Matthew Porter's going to be actually on the show. I don't see Matt Welch yet. So, do we need to set out a search party? If anybody's in touch with them, go ahead and let them know. I don't see Carp's gym. I don't see Coach Carp. I'm a proud member of FOC. That's the Friends of Carp. So I'm missing some of my regulars, but I also understand that it is, summertime vacation. People are out and about. No Fate 24/7 is doing a tour of America's amusement parks right now. If you check out his Instagram, so I completely understand, which makes it even more awesome that you guys are willing to get up way too early with me today, and along with the other 305 people who are watching right now. Thank you all for getting up way too early with Garage Life. All right, now we've said what's up to everybody. I told you what's going on. Let's go ahead and dive into news and other things. All right, so the first news item, let me get rid of that real quick. All right, so the first news item, we're not going to do a whole lot of sales stuff because I know, be honest with you, I know a lot of you guys are holding off on your purchases until HomeGymCon. So I'm not going to inundate you with sale information that you're not interested in. All right. I will tell you, because I know some of you guys don't live far from the Bells of Steel Indianapolis store. They are having a warehouse sale in Indianapolis. So the sale is going today and tomorrow, and it is 20% off of their in-stock items. Let me see if I can go to Bells of Steel right here. Bells of Steel. Let's go full details. All right, so they're having the June warehouse sale, and in fact, this is the excellent opportunity for the first screen share of the day. That's right. All right, let's jump right into it. Hold up. Wait a minute. Maybe y'all didn't hear me. I said it's the first screen share of the day. Oh, there they are. There you go. And the crowd goes wild. Okay. All right. Okay. Calm down. I just need to make sure you all calm down, ladies. I just want to make sure you're awake. All right. So the terms of the sale it's Friday today, June 6th to Saturday, June 7th. And you're going to save 50% off all scratch and dent items, and you'll save 20% off website prices with a pickup discount. And the caveat is it's got to be stuff that's currently in stock at the Indianapolis showroom. Okay, so you can't go there and say you want to order something that they have available in their showroom in Canada. That's not going to qualify. I mean, you can, but it's not going to qualify for the sale. So it has got to be something that is in stock in Indianapolis, and you'll get 50% off scratch and dent items and 20% off of stuff that's brand new, that's in stock. Also, another cool thing is you could use like your Memorial Day discount code. You could go there and stack that on top of the savings. So discount codes do stack. So you can go there, use the discount code, and it'll stack. Obviously, I would say that you're not like affiliate codes probably don't count. But hey, if you're gonna go there, feel free to tell them Best Gym in Town, tell them Garage Gym Life sent you, and see if that'll give me credit since I'm the one that told you guys about this sale. But it is exclusively for people who visit the showroom. This is not an online thing. And if you guys need to find the address and all that, you just go to Bells of Steel website, and it's got there. Well, you actually don't even have to do that. You literally Google Bells of Steel and then put in Indianapolis, and it'll show up. It'll pop up in Google Maps. All right. And then, also, apparently, so there's another thing too. If this is your first time visiting the Bells of Steel showroom, you get a $50 first showroom visit discount. So if you've never been to the Indianapolis showroom, Bells of Steel Indianapolis showroom, and you go there for the first time, either today or tomorrow, you need to let them know that this is your first time going there. You'll get $50 off because it's your first showroom visit. Then you can also tell them, hey, by the way, I've got a Memorial Day discount code, and you'll get that discount on top of it. And then you'll get 20% off because you're picking up stuff instead of having it shipped. So you're going to get 20% off discount on the website prices and 50% off if the thing that you want to buy happens to be part of the scratch and dent. So you could really clean up today just by going today and tomorrow, just by visiting Bells of Steel's Indianapolis showroom. So I don't know if, that's obviously not going to work for everybody. If you live in like Kansas or Oregon, probably not going to be a good fit for you. But if you are within driving distance of that store, my advice is that you need to give it a long look. All right, give it some strong consideration. So that's the first news item. Let's go ahead and stop sharing that. Let's see. Hey, there we go. Screen share. That's right, Carlos. First screen share of the day. Let's see here. Jared says T-Dog19 made me a custom barbell solution on his 3D printer. So it's going to be such a help to store a new deadlift bar I'm getting at HomeGymCon. Oh, there you go. Hey, there he is. Eric Echo. See, Eric, you go off on me because you said I didn't say hello to you a few weeks ago. And I said I didn't mention this. You were one of the first people on, right? But today I noticed immediately that you were not here. And I said, hey, where's Eric? All right. So that shows I do care. I am a warm, cuddly ball of human emotion. I do have feelings. And I do care when you guys are missing. All right. So there you go. All right. But I'm glad you're here, man. Carp's Gym. Carp is here. There you go. Carp is another one. I was like, hey, man, where's Carp? He said, ice box, baby. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. Yeah. What's up, Carp? Let's see here. Okay. So now let's go into the next news item. This is something that AbBench sent me, and I went ahead and I did a screenshot of the email. So this is something that is available to anybody that's on their newsletter list, all right? But because I'm on a newsletter list, I got this email, and it's get this out of here. It's talking about a product that they're calling the AbBench pad. So the TLDR is it's supposed to replace plate-loaded and selectorized ab crunch machines, right? And do it at a fraction of the cost. They're only making about 100 of them in their first product run, and they said supposedly it helps you target your abs much more effectively. I wonder if it's so. There are no pictures. They didn't send any pictures with this email. But I do know that the AbBench, I do know that AbMat and came out when it came out in the 90s. It had a companion product called the AbBench, and the AbBench is still being sold by Powerline, which is part of the Body Solid family of products. So I wonder if this product is going to be similar to that. So let me see here. So I've got an AbBench downstairs, and I'll just show you what it looks like. See here. Let's see if I can't pull this up here. All right. So this is. Let me remove that real quick, and I'll screen share this so you guys will see. Just so you see what I'm talking about. Nick Nilsson actually did a review of the AbBench, the plate loaded ab crunch, on our YouTube channel. So that video is on here. But this is what that product looks like. All right. I actually just used it the other day too. Used mine the other day. All right. So anyway, that's what that looks like. And that product came out roughly around the same time that the ab mat did. But what happened is when Austin's family purchased, they basically decided to go with the ab mat and not the ab bench. All right, so not as many people know about the ab bench. So I'm interested to see if I'm interested to see what this new ab bench pad is going to look like. All right, I'm curious to see if it looks like the pad on the plate loaded. There you go. I'm curious to see if it's going to look something like that. Yeah, like maybe if it's something that you can just attach to a bench, because this the curved part right there that's actually velcroed on to the frame. It's not bolted onto the frame. It's actually velcroed on. So I'm wondering if what they're bringing out is going to be something similar to that, maybe like a version of what they have with the bench wedge, or not. Because again, I got this notification from AbMat, but it didn't have any pictures with it, so I don't know what they created. And when I was at the AbMat booth at the Music City Fit Expo, I didn't see anything that looked like that. Now Carp was standing there with me, so I don't know if Carp saw anything, out of that might have kind of like caught his eye. That might be what they're talking about, but I doubt that it was over there. Okay. So anyway, the point is that now is when you want to get on their newsletter. So you can become part of you have early access. Now they give me, so I clicked on the thing for early access so I can find out about it. But it also gives you a 10% off coupon. I will say that it's probably going to be a HomeGymCon. And the reason I say that is because when we were at Music City Fit Expo, Christina told me, and then she said it again when Carp was there. Oh, that's good to hear, Carlos. I started to saw your comment. Anyway, Christina told me that they have a lot of products that have been teased recently, including the Barbell Bomb HD. I mentioned that specifically to her, and she said this is included. All right, in what I'm about to tell you, she said a lot of these products were teased, but they don't have pricing for them yet, so they weren't going to be able to. Weren't able to have them at their booth to talk about. Right. So the ab bench pad, that we just talked about, the Barbell Bomb HD that I mentioned last week, I think. The Vic pad, the drop zone pad, and the range of motion, the ROM pad. These products, if you go on the AbMat website, you won't see any of those products on there, even though they've been teased. And it's because they're not ready to actually sell them yet. So they're basically just gauging interest. But those products, and she said this to me again, and then she said it again when Carp was there, said these products should be available at HomeGymCon. They may not be, but they should be available at HomeGymCon. So, yeah. So we did see the drop zone pad, and we actually got a chance to test them. And yes, those were pretty cool. But they were not allowed, and that's another thing too. So Christina wasn't allowed to actually talk on camera about any of the products because she's like, let me not say Christina, it's just her. None of them were allowed to talk on camera because they don't have pricing in place for it. And they're like, if we do this, then people will start asking, it doesn't matter. Even if we say this is not available for sale yet, people are still going to ask. So to just get around that, they weren't doing any interviews talking about their products. But anyway, they said at HomeGymCon, you probably will be able to see all this stuff. So that's yet another reason to go check out the AbMat booth at HomeGymCon, because most of their new products the latest products that we tease should be there. And I think if what I showed you guys that was part of the plate loaded ab bench is similar to what they're bringing out, that's going to be cool because they're promising that the ab bench pad is going to allow you to increase your range of motion, properly load your core, and progressively add resistance over time. Is that plus it's compatible with your existing adjustable bench. That's why I'm thinking that it's going to be something like that. Like they'll be able to take it, attach it to your bench, and then you'll be able to do, I would assume you'll be able to use like a weight stack or something for resistance, but we shall see. So let's stay tuned to that. All right, so let's go ahead and remove that from studio. Let's see. Trevor said road trip to Indiana. I'm not going to Indianapolis this weekend. No, I'm going to be here at the house because like many of you, I'm saving my coins for HomeGymCon, and I got to buy stuff related to HomeGymCon that has nothing to do with equipment. I mean, it has nothing to do with like gym equipment, but it's stuff related to the trip cameras, all kind of stuff, right? So we got to get stuff like that. Got to stay on budget. All right. Jared says, doesn't winning make something just like that, but it's for triceps? I don't know. Let's check out Matt Winning's website. Let's find out. Go to Winning Strength. Matt Winning has a bunch of cool stuff that I see what you're talking about. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right. So this is Matt Winning's tricep bench. All right. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there. So it's there's like a little pulley right there, and then it goes down the pulley and goes down to where your resistance would be. Yes. So, fun fact, I actually reached out to Mutant Metals years ago to try, because I bought the plate loaded ab bench, right? And I had it shipped to Mutant Metals to see if Chris could make me something that would be, I guess, a hybrid of this tricep bench and without losing the functionality of the ab bench. He wasn't able to, and I ended up just having him ship the bench to me. So that was pretty. That was pretty disappointing, but I still think that this combined with the ab bench, the ab bench plate crunch, whatever there's like an official name for it. I don't know, but it's long. It's called the plate loaded ab crunch bench or something like that. And it's got a bunch of letters and numbers. I'm not about to learn all that. But I still would love to see a combination of those two products. So yeah, there you go. And that is for your official story time with Grandpa, by the way. All right, so let's stop sharing that. Carlos has an update. His new bench should be arriving on Monday. I can actually tell you that relates to something that we're going to talk about in React and Respond, Carlos. But his bench is arriving on Monday. Okay, so I just saw this comment from you, Jared. Yeah, it does look really close to it. Yes, you're right. All right. Matthew Porter, what's up, my man? Be talking to you in a few minutes, in about a little under an hour. Everybody's saying what's up. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next news item. This one is not as fun. Looks like we got more tariff talk. I personally was not signed up for more tariff talk, but I got it. I didn't ask for it, but I got it anyway. So in this one, let's get rid of this admin thing real quick. This comes from the Health Fitness Association, or HFA. They do, in case you're wondering what they do when they're not running their trade show, they do a lot of advocacy for the fitness community, and they do it in Congress at the state, national, state, and local level. So, excuse me. So they said right now they're fighting to keep fitness equipment off the Section 232 tariff list. That is not cool. I mean, it's not cool that they have to fight. Not that I'm not saying it's cool, not cool that they're fighting. No, the fact that they have to fight to keep it off of the Section 232 tariff list is not cool, and I will I'll explain what that means in a little bit more detail. I'll also give you guys a link if you want to read it yourselves, because it's very lengthy. Okay, but the highlights of it is that basically last week they submitted formal comments to the U.S. Department of Commerce, and they were opposing proposals to include fitness equipment. So that's dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance machines, whatever, under Section 232 tariffs on derivative steel products. Okay, so it's basically they're going to be tariffs on steel and aluminum and products that are derivatives of aluminum and steel. So it's basically stuff you make out of steel and aluminum, right? And the request attempts to classify commonly used fitness tools as national security threats. Now, okay, let's just stop here for a second. Some of this is inflammatory language, okay? I'm quite sure, or I hope, nobody at the Department of Commerce was like, hey, you know what? Flat benches are a danger to the United States. No. What happened is they probably said, hey, derivative products, stuff that we can't just put steel and aluminum on the list, because once you take raw steel and aluminum and refine them and make them and turn them into something, they can become things that are dangerous to national security. So let's include derivative products in the things that we're going to put under tariff, right? But because they're not thinking about flat benches and Smith machines or whatever, they didn't think to exclude them either, right? So that's where the HFAs comes in. See here. They're saying basically, if the tariff is approved, it would increase costs for fitness facilities, which doesn't really affect you guys or me because we have our own home gyms. But those costs we would see those costs in terms of fitness equipment costing more. And it would disrupt reinvestment for thousands of small businesses and fitness franchises. So think about it, if you're a personal trainer and you coach people out of your house, your garage or something like that, those increased costs are going to be something that's going to be an increased business cost for you. So what they're doing, and to let you know specifically, the Section 232 tariff rate on steel and aluminum raises it from 25 to 50%. Okay, so this is about as far as I wanted to go into this. I just wanted to point out that the tariff thing is still going on, and it sometimes manifests in ways that you wouldn't expect. So the HFA, I'm actually glad that the HFA has sent comments in to try to get fitness equipment excluded, because those costs would be reflected in the cost of equipment that we're trying to buy for our home gyms. Okay, so there you go. If anybody has any questions about that, I'm happy to share the link with you so that you can, investigate further. You can reach out to HFA or whatever you want. Okay. All right, let's get rid of that. All right, so I mentioned product releases at HomeGymCon, and I'm gonna go back around from AdMat, but now I'm gonna circle back around because speaking of product releases, HomeGymCon has a full list of product releases. So let's go to HomeGymCon product releases. All right, there's a couple of things. I just stopped because I see what you guys are talking about in the chat. I don't know what you're talking about in the chat, but yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with spam calls, but okay, it doesn't have anything. Okay, I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Let's see here. All right, so let's share screen. So go to HomeGymCon.com and you can see all of the, or most of the products that are going to be released at HomeGymCon. So while you're there, you'll be able to see products that are making their debut, and they are going to be seen for the first time by the general public, but only at HomeGymCon. All right, so that's the kind of stuff that you'll see that people will be doing content about. People will be going by and doing booth tours and trying to get video of all these new products and all that kind of stuff. But that's going to be there, right? So among the product increases, among the product releases are the Build Limitless Functional Trainer from PRX Performance. They're going to have their Profile Belt Squat, their Profile Functional Trainer. So the Build Limitless is a dual-sided functional trainer. Then the Profile Functional Trainer is a collaboration that PRX is doing with Dial Motion. So it's going to have the Dial Motion Sidewinder cable system integrated with the Profile Pro Functional Trainer. Okay. So that's going to be something that you guys might want to check out. Kratos Fly Fitness is going to have the AK Power Cord. That's a battery-powered sprint-resistant trainer if you need to improve your sprint acceleration. Wait It Out. I know this one's going to get your attention. Wait It Out is going to have their new thin standard size change plates. They're going to have their thin multifunctional J-Cup, which is a reversible J-Cup design. It's got a bunch of different capabilities for pulley systems and attachments, as well as being a J-Cup. They're also going to have their Ortho Barbell. That's interesting because that's still in the prototype phase, and they're still doing the tweaks, redesign tweaks. So that won't be for sale at HomeGymCon. Instead, they're gonna take it to HomeGymCon to get feedback from the community. So make sure that you guys go by their booth. Brian from Wait It Out is actually going to be on the show next week. So I'll get more details from him about everything he's taking to HomeGymCon next week while he's on the show. But yeah, that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to seeing there. And then, of course, they're going to have the Duffalo Signature Barbell. So the new Duffalo Barbell Signature Edition pre-order. That's going to be, I would assume they're going to have a sample there, so you see what you're getting, but that's available for pre-order. So they're going to have, so I assume they're going to have a physical copy of it there. Or I don't know if they'll be selling that, but they're going to have something there so you guys can get your hands on it and decide if you want to get a Duffalo bar for your home gym. Then Power Bells, we're going to come back to Power Bells later on in the show. Power Bells will be there. Attitude Iron is going to have their Mushroom Bell, their new Mushroom Bell. This one's interesting. Core Forge Fitness. This is an ab training device. So you guys know that, like there's always somebody, it's kind of like a variation on the theme of the Swiss ball. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen anybody doing like Swiss ball exercises, like whether you're doing like a rollout, you put your forearms on the Swiss ball and you kind of like roll out like that, right? And it really challenges your core. But now it looks like there is a variation on it, right? It's going to give you 180-degree rotational movement with immersive training technology. Okay. Yes, I just read that on the screen. But what's interesting to me, and actually, hold up, yeah, looks like we can open the link. Let's see, right? Oh yeah, let's share this tab instead. All right, so now you guys get to see what it looks like. That's like I said, it takes the Swiss ball idea and advances it to make it what looks like probably about 100% more difficult, because you can go side to side. I would assume I can't tell if you can roll out like you can with a Swiss ball, but that still looks really, really challenging. So anyway, that is going to be at HomeGymCon as well. And then some other stuff there. The Dial Motion is going to have their leg developer that we were looking at a few months ago. The M plate is going to have it's a magnetic fractional plate they're going to have for the rep Pepin Fast Series adjustable dumbbells. They're going to have Soul Basium, that's Nova red light therapy. It's a bed for red light therapy. Some of this stuff is like, I don't know, like, it's very easy when I look at this stuff to be like, well, yeah, I can't see that in the home gym. But I have to keep reminding myself that different home gyms are set up differently. So I remember one person's home gym, I can't remember, I think his name was like Five Strengths or something. And his home gym was in a separate building. So he had it set up to look like a martial arts dojo, right? Had like the hardwood floors, had heavy bags, the water bag hanging, had a squat rack, power rack off the side where he could bench and squat and all that kind of stuff. But he had enough room for something like for the red light therapy, sauna. He had room for all that stuff. We had Thick and Fit Adventures on here. They had a sauna in their home gym. So I'm trying to not dismiss that stuff out of hand, like, that's not going to work. Who's got room for that? Because some people might, but that's still, regardless, it's still going to be stuff that's interesting to see at HomeGymCon. Carlos said, I'm not crazy about his hand placement and need a grip bar. Apparently, actually, that is coming up. So now you got me. Yeah, hold on. So they have, since you asked, Carlos, they got handles coming out. So coming soon, they're gonna have handles. Let's use that. That's a better picture, right there. So that might be that might meet the needs that you were talking about as far as a grip bar. And I don't know when that's coming out, but it says coming soon, along with sliders and all kinds of other stuff. So there you go. Anyway, so like I said, you got tons of stuff. There's the Quantum Free Trainer. Let me go ahead and share the screen again. Quantum Free Trainer is going to be something else that you can check out there. And let's see, it said hundreds of exercises, 30 commercial machines in one. Okay. That, like, in my head, when somebody tells me that reminds me of those old multi-stations that they had, like, in my grandmother's, in the exercise room in my grandmother's condominium building. That's actually where I first started lifting, when I was a wee lad. The bench box gonna have the belt skins. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. And then, as you said, Trevor, Iron Master's gonna have a new product release as well. They're gonna have multiple releases. All right, so that's gonna be kind of cool. Jared says, I miss a good sauna session. Hey man, I mean, you got room, I'm sure, somewhere in there. You might end up having to get one of those little portable things like what we have downstairs to make sure you've got room. But there's a way. There's a way. You could also just go in if you're like me, you just go in your attic and get a free sauna session right there. All right. Hey, that's like 491 of you watching. Do me a favor. This is an excellent time for me to ask you to do this. Hit like button, hit subscribe. All right. Don't just watch. I need you to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Let's because that's how we get me closer to my YouTube play button. You see, I got the space reserved for my YouTube play button. All right. Trying to get to the YouTube play button. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe for me if you haven't already done so. Let's see. It looks like we got some new people in here. Joey, what's up, Joey Echeverria? My man, what's up, man? Matt Welch has arrived. He says, "Good morning, USA." What's up, Matt? Joey said that looks like a more advanced Power Tech lever gym. Yeah, but see, to me, the Power Tech lever gym reminds me of those multi-stations, right? That just shows you how old I am. Like, because that's where my brain defaults. It's like, oh, that just looks like that, right? And Eric said the Quantum is that machine hybrid resistance dude has it. I don't know. Let's see. Quantum trainers. Let's take a look. We got a couple seconds here. Oh, that's a lot. So I don't know who has this, but I know there's a lot going on right here. There's a lot going on with this machine. Okay. Got rotational handles, lat pull down. Oh yeah. Over 200 exercises. I see it in the three people that are showing it that did reviews are people who have I wouldn't say like a home gym. It's more like a gym they use to train clients. So, potentially. I don't know. I guess that's a very unsatisfying answer, but I don't know. It's possible. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move into the most popular segment, which is Recliner Rage, because I'm going to need a little bit more time for this one. So let's go ahead. Let's get mad right now.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
All right. I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. And that's because today's Recliner Rage is dedicated to, I'm not exactly sure how to categorize this. So I'll just let you guys decide. All right. Here's the story. So May 16th, I ordered a pair of leggings for my wife. Okay. As of Tuesday, May 27th, so that's 11 days later, the leggings had not only not arrived, but I still didn't have a tracking number. Okay. I was all right. Originally, I placed the order through, I told you guys a lot of times about how much I like the Shop app. So I said, well, maybe it's because I placed it through the Shop app. So I go in the Shop app, and they basically just said, oh, contact the seller. I'm like, okay, fine. So I sent an email May 27th. And I said, hey, it's been 11 days. I still don't have a tracking number. What's the deal? Could you help me? All right. Well, I didn't get a response except for their automated response with a list of clickable FAQs. I'm like, what? So, look. All right, let me tell. Hold on a second. I'm gonna actually read what this thing was. All right. Thank you for contacting blank. All right. We assure that your email and experience are extremely important to us. The clickable list below is designed to help you get answers to what you need. While this is an autoresponder and we will be replying to you directly, the below is designed to help. So first of all, when you tell me that this is an autoresponder, I already know this isn't designed to help. But all right, I kept reading. So we believe 99% of questions are answerable here. So we've added items like order-related questions. The clickable list included order status updates, right? Well, if I click that, it says, check the tracking associated with your order. Most times, items are still in transit, and you can check the tracking provided. Well, I don't have a tracking number, so I can't do that, can I? Wrong item received. Does not apply. Not able to sign in and review your courses. Haven't signed up for courses. Does not apply. Where are your items if you receive part of your equipment order? Does not apply. How to attain continuing education units? Does not apply. When will I receive my certificate from completing a course? Does not apply. How do I log in to the website? Does not apply. We have found over time, these are the main questions we receive, and we do our absolute best to provide helpful, insightful solutions so you can get what you need sooner rather than later. Still don't want to look or don't see the answer? No problem. We will still be following up with you, but wanted to do our best to help. Okay, I got that email May 27th, 12/24. All right, keep in mind, that's 11 days after I placed the original order, still no tracking number. All right. And then there was an invite to download their new app, okay, which I was not interested in. Definitely not interested in at all. All right, the saga continues. Let's keep going. So the next day, I said I still hadn't heard anything because I figured, 24 hours. Because I sent it, I get the autoresponder. It says, "Hey, we're gonna follow up. We're gonna get back with you quickly," which to me is 24 hours, right? In my head, that's 24 hours. I still hadn't heard from him. So the next day, I said, "All right, time to use my resources," because I happen to have the cell number for the owner of the brand. Okay, so I shot him a text. His first response was, "Hey, I don't see a support request, so can you confirm that you sent one?" I said, "Of course I can." And I sent him a screenshot. I texted him back with a screenshot of the email. Well, lo and behold, that afternoon, I received an email from support. Okay? Mysteriously. The same afternoon, the same day, I reached out to the owner of the company on his cell. I get an email from their support. Okay? All right. And in case y'all are wondering, when I emailed support, my email said, "Hey, I'm checking the status of the order I placed on May 16th. Still haven't received the product or even tracking the information. Here's my order number. Here's my receipt. Can somebody help me with this?" Okay, so that's what I sent to support. All right, now you're caught up. So I sent the text. He said he didn't see it. I had to confirm with a screenshot. Says, "All right." Then he, I guess he called somebody and yelled at him, and they sent me an email. "Hey, John. Sorry for the delay in getting back to you and apologies for the lack of information. We're looking into why there's no new information or delivery. I'll follow up when I have more information." Okay, so here's another promise that they're going to follow up. All right. And sure enough, you scroll down in that email, there's another invitation to download their app. Still didn't download the app. Okay. So that was May 28th. 2 days later, Friday, May 30th, I got another email. It says, "Hi, John." Now, I don't know if this is the voice, but that's what it is in my head because that's the most annoying voice I could associate with this because I was very annoyed. It said, "Hi, John. We're able to get our hands on the tracking for you." And they gave me the tracking number. The label was created today, it seems. What? I ordered it by this time. So that's May 30th. Okay. So that's about 14 days after I ordered. That's when they created the label. I say again. What? They created the label and said, now it's going to be delivered next week. Okay, so more time's going to pass. I want to apologize for this immensely. Because of your patience, I'm attaching a 10% off discount you can use in your next order. Well, that ain't going to happen. I'm not ordering nothing else. Okay. Continuing on. While I'm at Music City Fit Expo, okay, so this was May 31st. While I'm at the Music City Fit Expo, the brand owner called me to follow up, and he wanted to let me know that there was a problem with the vendor that supplies that particular product. And that vendor assured him, hey, it's a glitch. That never happens. It won't happen again. Okay. He even forwarded me a copy of the email that they sent him. Okay. Says, John, now this was June 1st. So I got the email from him Sunday. So the next day, right? And he said, John, thanks for your time yesterday. We had a conversation where I was like, I was like, look, man, I understand, things happen. I don't expect companies to be perfect. But what I'm looking for is how you respond when something goes wrong, right? I understand things happen, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So it was a civil conversation, but I was just like, man, this is not acceptable, right? So he came to me and said, yeah, so following up to close up on the order, we apologize for the delay. It's not what you should expect. We rarely experience that. We have close to 50 third-party brands on the site. And after hearing back today, it looks like there was a technical issue that prevented the order from processing. What technical issue, man? Okay. Remember, I placed the order through the shop. So you're telling me I shouldn't use the shop? What do you mean technical? Okay, anyway. And he said the vendor said, well, it took us a little while to pinpoint the cause of the issues we're experiencing. I'm pleased to inform you the problems have been resolved. We don't anticipate any further delays or errors moving forward. Okay. That's great that they told him that, but I'm still saying, okay, man, but explain to me why I reached out and nobody responded to me, right? Okay. So here's what I said to him. And to me, this is fair. Okay. I said, I completely understand, but I'm going to be candid with you. Okay. I don't expect perfection. Things happen. What bothers me more than the issue with the product being shipped on time is that I had to text you to get my customer service issue handled rather than the customer support team responding to my email. I appreciate that you took care of it, and he took care of it quickly. Okay. But I just hope the normal resolution process runs more smoothly for customers who don't have the brand owner's personal cell phone number. Because that's not acceptable. Okay. Here's what he said. He replied to that email. He said, I spoke with the agent, and he told me that he saw Garage Gym magazine in the inbox and thought it was a newsletter. So he closed it without opening it. So you're telling me that he looked at there, and I can kind of understand because I get spam all the time, right? So he sees, and I've been trying to correct it, but I ordered this. So originally I ordered this because the plan was Naomi was going to do a review of the leggings, right? So I ordered it through the Garage Gym Life account. And so as a result, I used Garage Gym Life's email, right? But I don't care. When he saw that on there, he closed it without even looking at the email. Even when I see something that looks like spam, I still scan at least the first paragraph to do my, too long don't read to make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen. But seriously? Seriously. So, thanks, Trevor. He said your pain brings us comfort because it happened to you and not us. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help. Look, all I'm saying, man, is look. There is absolutely, and I understand businesses are run by people. People are not perfect. Systems are built by people. So systems are not perfect. We live in an imperfect world. Entropy, the principle of the law of entropy is not a principle. The law of entropy means things are steadily getting worse, not better. I get all that. But seriously, you're telling me that because I went through the steps. I ordered the thing. I didn't get a tracking number. I sent an email. You're telling me that, and then I waited 10 days, right? If I didn't have this dude's phone number, I might still be waiting. And I'm going to say that most people who might order from them don't have his phone number. I don't like stuff like that. I'm not the one who originally said this, but I actually think it was Joe Gray. He said, he was talking about a completely different brand, and he said, if they're going to treat me this way, not like in this what I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, look, I'm not saying I'm anybody like special, but if they're going to treat me this way, what are they going to do to somebody who doesn't have the advantages that we have because of what we do? That's just unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So there you go. All right. So that was Recliner Rage. And I'm mad enough at that I'm not even yelling anymore. I'm just like, that's not acceptable. Okay. Yes, it is about leggings, Carlos. I don't care what I ordered. The point is, I should have got the stuff. Okay. And in case y'all are wondering, we are not doing it. And then to make it worse, the leggings showed up, and Naomi was like, "Yeah, they're all right." So we waited all that time for that. Like, oh yeah, they're all right. Like, seriously? Anyway, so we're probably not even gonna do a review of it now. But hey, at least she got new leggings. All right. Looks like we have No Fake 24/7 jumping in the chat. This is perfect because now I'm about to add LinkedIn to our list of destinations. Let's see. We're gonna have to do this like this. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. I do not see Matthew. I see Nate, but I don't see Matthew behind in the studio. So Matthew, if you're ready to go ahead and jump into the studio so we can get this. We can make this happen. All right. Let's go ahead and boom. All right. Shout out to the Central Time Zone and to all of you who are just now joining us from LinkedIn. About to be joined by my guest Nate from Executive Fit LLC and Matthew Porter from Porter Physed Fitness. Going to be talking about an exciting collaboration that they have going on, as well as a preview of what they're doing at HomeGymCon. So let's go ahead and if you're watching right now, please do me a favor. Well, obviously you're watching or you wouldn't even hear this. I don't know why people say that. So basically what they mean is I need all of you to go and follow my show page on LinkedIn, Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. Hey, there he is. Matthew Porter has entered the studio backstage. All right. Looks like his hair is still wet from the shower. I'm just kidding. He's here. All right. So anyway, so if you guys are just not tuning in, thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. This is a show where we talk about the events, the people, the equipment, all the things that make the home gym equipment, the home gym community work, and we get your live reactions to them. I am about to be joined by Matthew from Porter Physed Fitness and Nate from Executive Fit to talk about the collaboration. But first, I got to give a quick shout out to Carp, my guy Carp, who did a review of the Garage Gorilla Bar. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and I will post the link in the live chat so you guys can check that out after the show is over. Don't check it out now, but you go check that out after the show is over. And he's going to, and he pretty much goes through why this is such an awesome barbell for you guys to add to your home gym. It is a 45-pound knurled axle, the only 45-pound knurled axle that I am aware of. there are knurled axles, but they're not the same. They're not 45 pounds, and there are axles that weigh more than that, but they're not knurled. So if you're looking for something that will level up your training that you can add to your home gym, go ahead and grab the Garage Gorilla Bar. And if you want to find out more about it, just check out Carp's review of it. I just posted the link in the live in the chat. The link is also in the description for this video, so you guys can check that out. All right, Nate, Matthew, you guys ready? All right, so let's go ahead and let's add you guys to the show. Welcome to our guests, Matthew and Nate.
Hey, good morning.
What's up? Morning. What's up? What's up? Thanks for getting up way too early for me. Now you guys are probably familiar with both of these guys. I want to say that Nate, you were a guest on my show before we started doing it live.
I think so.
I think you were in the Garage Gym Life podcast, and then Matthew, you've been on the live show a couple of times. So, let's go ahead and those people who didn't watch your interview on the Garage Gym Life podcast, and they probably still know who we are. So let's just go ahead and dive right in and talk about what we're here to do. Because first of all, you guys are collaborating on a project which is in honor of Matthew's brother. So starting with you, Matthew, talk about the project and including what cause does the project specifically support?
So my brother basically back in 2023, he was working on these aluminum like magnetic signs for your rack, and we had some family things happen, some different issues happen, so he wasn't able to continue making them, and that kind of fell off. And then I met Nate at HomeGymCon, and I already talked to him a little bit. Through just Instagram and things like that. And then we kind of connected, and I kind of brought up this project, potentially bringing this back. This was before my brother had passed. And then we kind of talked, sounded like it was be a good idea. It kind of got put on the back burner for a while. And then my brother passed back in August. And then we just kind of slowly kept talking about this project and slowly made it where it was more of a dedication to my brother. And then we're actually going to be donating 50% of the proceeds to the American Diabetic Association. My brother did pass from a complication with diabetes. And then we've just been back and forth, how can we make this where it's still very similar to what my brother was doing when he was making it strictly out of aluminum, and then how can we kind of bring in what Nate does best with the epoxy stuff.
Okay, so let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I'm pretty sure I can. Wow. There we go. All right. So this is what you sent me last month, and that's kind of an example of it. You said it's purple. I think it's because of your brother. It was like his favorite color, purple or something like that?
Yeah, it's both of ours.
Okay. All right. So that's what it is. So I'm going to leave that up for just a second. But I want to go to you, Nate. You get orders for custom signs all the time. Okay. Why did it make sense to make this a collaboration in this way rather than just saying, all right, man, I'll make you a sign, just to honor your brother. You can hang it in your gym. Why did it make sense to you to turn this into a fundraiser?
Yeah. I think it probably made the most sense to me to do it because a little bit before Matthew lost his brother, we lost somebody close to us. So just doing something special like that in memory and to honor that life, to honor that memory and that person. That's why.
Okay.
Real simple.
All right. So I checked. So for anybody who can't tell, this is a screen share from my Instagram, from the DMs, the DM that you sent me, Matthew, because I checked, and as of last night, these signs are not on either of your websites. So if somebody wants to get one, wants to support the project, how can they do that?
So right now they're going to be basically reaching out to us, and we have different blanks that we're going to be doing. And then I talked to Nate a little while ago, and we're going to actually have it where it's going to be on his site. I think we're doing on your site first, and then eventually try to get where it's on both. But since he's doing the customization, the custom work on it, it makes sense to have it more on his site, and he'll also be able to kind of give a little more indication of like what epoxies and blanks he has available.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this a little bit differently than like how I typically do custom products. These have to start as like a rectangular blank, right?
Okay.
And it takes a little bit of time to get. It's these are all basically like slabs of epoxy, right?
Okay.
So each blank needs to get like formed and then flattened before it's ready to even be customized. So what we're going to do is start with these blanks and run them in batches of, I think this first batch we're doing 10. We've got like 10 total. Now we've got less, obviously, because of this first one, and a couple other people have already reached out to purchase theirs. I think maybe we have like 6 or 7 left available. But we're going to do them in blanks. We're going to do batches of 10, and that's at least just what we're going to start with. Different colors are going to be available. The blanks are done in a way that can't be replicated. So we've kind of put out there, shared what these blanks look like, and because they're slabs of epoxy, we're using different colors mixed together. So it kind of done in a way. I'm blanking on the word that I need to describe this, but they're all like one-offs and unique designs, right?
Okay.
So if you see a blank that you really like, it's not necessarily going to even be able to be replicated in that same way or style.
So they're all bespoke.
Yeah. They're all bespoke.
Right.
And so yeah, and that just makes it a little bit easier for my side of things. Once we've got 10 blanks ready to go, it's going to be a little bit quicker and easier in terms of customization, because it's like, all right, this is the blank you've chosen now. The wording or the logo, the font that we're adding, obviously that's, you pick a color and go. So.
Okay. So we got some, so first of all, Carlos said, it says rest in power for your brother. And also for the person that you lost, Nate. And Jared wants to know where you live, Nate. I don't know if he's shipping you something. He just wants, he's curious.
Oh, yeah.
So he wants to know what state you live in.
I'm deep in the heart of Amish country in Pennsylvania.
I feel like you'll fit right in. I just have a feeling. Jared also said that Porter rack badge looks so good. So you said it's available in multiple colors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the fundraiser is basically the rectangular, the rack badge. Mm-hmm. It's not the color. It doesn't have to say Porter, is what I'm assuming.
No. It's all custom. Yeah. Everything's gonna be custom, and we're selling these for $80 a piece. We're donating every one we sell. We're donating $40 to the ADA, and the other $40 probably just goes to like covering the cost of materials to make this.
Okay. So Carp says, I remember when Porter was trying to get these signs going back in 2022. I told him back then I thought it was a good idea, and I think it is a good idea. Is that magnetically attached, or does it have some other way that it attaches to your rack?
Yeah. So this one's not finished. This is Porter's that I have here. So the backside still needs sanded off, but you can see here we've got a rubberized magnet that's inset, and you might not be able to see it on the phone, but it's slightly raised. It's the surface of the magnet is what's going to be attached and like touching the rack, so it will hold itself there instead of the epoxy being what touches it. And because it's slightly raised, that's what's gonna hold it there. So see how shiny it is.
Oh, I can't wait to get it in.
Okay, nice. Oh, so you haven't even seen it?
I've just seen it in the pictures and everything. I haven't.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. So you're gonna see that, I guess, at HomeGymCon?
Yeah, or a little
No,
before.
I'll probably, we'll probably get it. I'll probably get it out at this point. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll. I
Here's
mean,
the-
I'll have it at HomeGymCon so people can see
Yeah.
that sample. It'll be at my booth, and they also like so. Mine's a basically a horizontal orientation. You can also do a vertical orientation. So if you wanted to make it on like just on your upright, you can also do that. So it doesn't have to be where you have to put it on your cross members.
Okay. So I like how Nate said, "Yeah, it's probably gonna be." And he said, "Wait a minute, I'm about to make a promise. Hold up a second. Yeah, it's probably. Oh yeah, we'll see." I was like, he's like,
It'll
man,
be at
you'll
home. It'll
definitely
be at
have it
HomeGymCon.
like, yeah. Well, I'll get back to you.
Regardless of who brings it to HomeGymCon, it'll be at HomeGymCon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nice. I like that. All right. That makes it even more exciting, especially because. So let me do this real quick because I had not planned on doing this. All right, but now you said that, you guys know how well, maybe you don't, but this is how my brain works, right? So you guys are both gonna be obviously at HomeGymCon, and Nate has his booth, and then Matthew, your booth is gonna be combined with Fringe Sport.
Not exactly anymore.
Okay, are we breaking news? Okay, so
Yeah.
Joey, I see your question. And actually, before you say that, let's go over Joey's question because that's a good question because he has a question about the is it a rack badge? Like, what are you calling it? Rack badge? Okay.
I like rack badge. I think that's a good. I think that's a good one.
All right, so we got a name for it. Excellent.
Yep.
There we go. We're making progress. All right, we came on the show. We got a name. And we're figuring out when you're going to actually get it. All right. Now, next question. Joey says, how durable is the epoxy against a knurled lat bar? He said, my lat bar will sometimes hit the rack uprights. I've been thinking about getting something that can protect the rack.
No, you don't want to do that. You'll just scratch and chew up the epoxy.
Okay. All right. So that's your answer. Do not use this as makeshift HDP.
However, that just gave me an idea.
Oh, wow. Just the fact that you said comma.
You're familiar. You guys are also. I mean, obviously, everybody's familiar with the UHMW on spotter arms and J cups.
Yeah.
We could totally make something like this out of UHMW that's thicker than 1/4 inch. I'm theorizing right now. This is just the idea that I had, and this is the picture that I have in my head of essentially this made out of UHMW, but instead of an epoxy inlay name or logo, we're engraving your name or logo.
Oh, okay.
And it attaches to the rack as protection, right, from the knurling hitting the upright.
Okay.
So I could see that in terms of it being attaching magnetically. I don't know how well that, like, as soon as you hit it, that might cause it to fall off or something. But something like that, I could see.
I mean, and the impact over time, doesn't that degrade the effectiveness of a magnet?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Keep hitting it.
Magnets over time are more fragile, so they'll have more risk of like shattering. But there's rubber inlay on that stuff like that. But if you're hitting it with something heavy like your lap bar or like attachments like that, or even a barbell, magnets probably aren't the best way to do that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you might want to bolt
I paid
it
attention
on.
to every other day of science class when I was in high school. Every just depending on what day it was and what week it was. So, now you said so you're saying that you could put like some HDPE or whatever around. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
You see how I held him accountable? He said UHMW, but I know you meant HDPE. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's same.
Yeah.
Same. A little bit different. Same.
I got my eye on you. All right. We don't let people squirm away out of this fuzzy math. What's up, Kinsey? All right. So Joey said that sounds exactly like what I need. And Jared says, or you can put a border around the epoxy rack badge, a raised border. Okay.
Yeah.
So now everybody's like coming up with ideas. All right. And this chat goes away when we're done. So now I don't know if you need to have your pen and pad out or whatever. Here's what you do.
The seed's been planted.
Everybody needs to go, and I mean everybody needs to go over to Nate's booth. All right, you need to go over there anyway. But you go over there with your ideas for a rack badge. Take all your UHMW rack badge ideas over to that booth and line up, form an orderly line. We don't want to, don't want to swarm them, but take all your ideas over there. Because let's see here. Joey said attach it with a bolt or a tab. Yep, that could work. And Jameson has entered the chat. He says the rack badge could be widened for a gym bathroom sign that says wouldn't go in there for a while. That's okay. Okay.
Yes.
That is something that could happen. Yes. All right.
Oh, goodness.
All right. He said essentially a lift like we all came up with on the with the Synergy Custom Fitness Adjustable Dumbbell. Yeah, that's right. That's actually one of the things I love about when brands come on the show. It's like because as soon as you get asked for feedback, then they start giving you feedback and it's like you get it in real time. And it's like I think this is like the most valuable part of the show. All right. So now back to what I was saying. As of last night, when I looked on, and let's see if we can get this document up here, right? The vendor list for HomeGymCon, it said, let's see here. Let's see, we can't screen. Let me go ahead and share screen. It said you were going to be with Fringe Sport. Now, you're saying not anymore, okay?
Yes and no.
Okay, so here we go. So I don't know if Jake is awake and watching this right now, but it sounds like, where are you? Okay, there we go. See, right here at the bottom, it says Porter Physed Fitness with Fringe Sport. Okay, let's go back up to the top. And in my head, that meant, because this is the floor map, you guys know, that's why I sent you the question I sent you when I was like, okay, hold up. Fringe Sport is here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Fringe Sport's here. Executive Fit is over here. And then it's got Porter Physed Fitness here. And I said, well, how are you going to manage that? So I'm listening. You got my full attention. You need a big screen?
Sure, go ahead.
I didn't know. Well, how are you going to do this? This is physically impossible. Go ahead.
So kind of what happened was the original idea was I have a specific product that's actually behind me. It's the TNT Hell Box. It's right there on the mammoth right there. It's going to be at the Fringe Sport booth. It still will be there will be one at the Fringe Sport booth so people can try. And as HomeGymCon's been getting closer, I've slowly had more and more attachments and different things that I'm working on, and I slowly outgrew the ability to share with Fringe Sport. I was going to end up kind of taking up a giant chunk of their booth. So that the TNT Hellbox will still be at the Fringe Sport booth, but I'm going to have my own booth. Fringe Sport is helping, and they're going to provide the Dane 2.0 for me, so I'll be able to use that for kind of showing off rack attachments and things like that. But I'm going to have, if everything works and if I can get everything finished in time, potentially 7 new products that will be debuted at HomeGymCon, or something that will be like that's been like the Hellbox. It's been something that's only a few months and it's still in pre-sale.
Okay, so much just happened in that one little thing. All right, so you're gonna have 7 products potentially, and so last year you were kind of like at the Bells of Steel booth because you have a bunch of stuff. Let me get this out of the way. I want people to be able to see who you are. All right, so you had your stuff at the Bells of Steel booth, right? Because you have so much stuff that works with their ecosystem. This year, you're going to have 7 products. And I assume some of them are going to be compatible with Fringe Sport. Some are compatible with Bells of Steel. And some of the just, what's a good word? Agnostic in terms of what they're going to be. They can go anywhere, right? Like your Eclipse Grip. Doesn't matter what sort of cable machine you have, that'll work, right? So are you going to have products in multiple places at multiple booths? So basically, hey, this thing works with this, or are you going to try to have everything at your booth, and then people can kind of just like, you can just say, oh well, yeah, it works with that, hey, if you want to take it over there and see if it works, that kind of thing. Is that like what the plan is? So is there a plan? Let's try that.
There's a plan. There's a plan.
Okay, good. All right,
I'm gonna have a very unique setup because it's still a fairly small booth. I'll have so I have a project that I'm working on with Chris from BeltFed. I have another project I'm working on with Black Widow, the one with Executive Fit. Um, I have another project that I literally just kind of finalized with WM Fab yesterday. So that product will be at HomeGymCon as well. So I'm trying to work with everybody basically.
Well, I mean, that's the reason, and I appreciate, like I told you before, I love it when we break news on this show, but that's kind of like what I was trying to get at is your product line. One of the reasons why I love it is because it works with a lot of different products. However, at somewhere like HomeGymCon, you run into the issues like, okay, well, how's somebody going to test your product? So you have to have, and to me, it's kind of silly. Like you have to take a cable tower, just for example, or a functional trainer with you, just so you can demonstrate your products. When you're surrounded by functional trainers and power, like this is all the stuff my stuff works on, right? So that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm asking is like, are you going to have like something set up at your booth for people to try stuff? Or are you just going to say, oh, well, yeah, it works. I mean, look, it works right there. Just try it. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, so the Fringe is letting me basically have a Dane, so I'll have that at my booth, so that'll give me the ability to use cables.
Okay.
If it gets here in time, I should have a Voltra at my booth as well,
Okay.
so people can try that out. The different
Okay.
cable attachment, because most of the new stuff it is a bunch of cable attachments, so that is a little easier to kind of for people to visualize. Like, oh, if I have this thing, it's a cable attachment. It's gonna if you have a cable system, it'll work on it. The only or the Bell stuff, I don't know if I'm gonna bring yet or not, just 'cause it depends on like what all I can fit and how much space I actually have, or I can find a way to make this all work in the booth. But the other parts are all basically add-ons for the TNT Hellbox, and I have one that's basically something that it's sort of going to also highlight the megalith handles as well from Rory, because it's basically a iteration of the attachment that he's working on with Dean as well. So it's kind of just like a kind of an evolution of that product.
Okay. You know what, Joey? I feel like this might be him trying to stack the deck. He said that Porter Physed is going to win best new product at HomeGymCon. So he's just like, I just bring a whole bunch of stuff. Something's got to win. Something's got to win. That we
Throw
figured
it
it
against
out.
the wall. See what sticks.
That's hilarious. Carp said just buy everything from both these guys and the problem is solved. That's what I think too. And Jared says JD Gym Equipped is another one. He's got, if you want to try his products, you got to have a cable. You know, you need like a cable attachment or some sort of cable thing in order to try it. That's like why, to me, when you told me originally that you're going to be at the Fringe booth, I was like, oh, that makes sense because you got to have something to put your stuff on. It's kind of like somebody comes in with a barbell. Well, you got to have something to try it. You got to have plates. You got to have, whatever, right? So I think that sort of collaboration is really key.
I want to say one more thing. So William from WM Fab, so he's actually going to be at my booth as well. So
nice. Okay.
We're going to kind of work together, and he's still like really early in the stage of like kind of building up what he's doing. So he'll be at my booth, and we have we have that one collaborative project, but he's going to be bring a couple of his cable attachments as well.
Nice. Well, Jared says he's already used his Eclipse script this morning, so right there, all is right with the world. All right, Nate, we're coming to you. All right, so you don't get to just sit around anymore. I got to put you. All right, got to make sure you're up. All right, so looking at stop the screen. So you've got some stuff at HomeGymCon that's already on the for sale at Booth List. So you're gonna have like the standard 6x8 platform with the HomeGymCon 2025 logo. You're gonna have 4 of the standard deadlift boxes. You're gonna have custom rack headers, which are 30% off if you order them at HomeGymCon. We'll talk about that in more detail in a second. And then deadlift platforms, all sizes, right? So, and you're offering 15% off the website price with a custom logo if you order at HomeGymCon. So, let's unpack that just a little bit. How far? Let's say somebody doesn't want to order it at HomeGymCon. They want to order it and pick it up at HomeGymCon. Is it too late to do that?
I'll give you a date. If people can get their order in by 6 weeks ago, then
Okay,
they'll
all
be
right.
set to pick it up at HomeGymCon. Yeah. So if we can hop back in time and they can get their order in, we're squared away.
So Matthew has a time machine. I don't know if you knew that. That's how he's going to get
Perfect.
around to all the different
Problem
places
solved.
the attachments work. So
Yeah.
so go to his booth first,
Yep.
and rent
Just
some
run
time
back in
on
time.
yeah. Okay, perfect. All right.
We'll be fine.
So that answers that. If somebody orders at HomeGymCon, what's the lead time that they're looking at if they want to order one of those products I just mentioned?
Yeah, we're usually running 6 to 8 weeks on larger orders like platforms. They just take some time to build. Smaller stuff like rack headers, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I brought up the rack header. I said we come back to rack headers, and as promised, here we are. You and I were talking at Music City Fit Expo about them, and I was like, HomeGymCon is actually a good place to talk to you about rack headers, because if somebody's got I don't have a Rep or Rogue or Bells of Steel rack. So if somebody is in my situation, they're in the brand that makes the rack. If the brand of rack that they have is at HomeGymCon, right? Because let's say you have a Rogue rack, but the one that you have isn't there, then that doesn't help. But I'm saying maybe a Williams Strength is a better example. But if the brand of rack that you have is at HomeGymCon, it's really easy to get the measurements there. But let's assume that you don't want to have a convoy of people queued up in front of you, like with measurements and all that kind of stuff. What's the best way for somebody if they want to order a custom rack header and they're like, well, I don't know, it's that one right over there,
Yeah.
What's the easiest way for you to even make that happen?
Oh,
Because
it's just
otherwise
so
you're gonna
easy.
end up running around going to
Yeah.
going to different booths with measuring tape.
Yeah.
And that's not living your best life.
Right.
So
It's so easy.
All
So
right.
check this out. Racks that have logo cross members like Rogue and Rep, where it says Rep, it's a replaceable panel that
Okay.
you can unbolt and then put a custom one on. If you have a rack that's like that, I think like Get RXD has a rack like that, has a rack. I call it a logo cross member, right? It's a steel cross member with a logo panel bolted onto it. The easiest way to get me that pattern is if you take it off, you put it on a sheet of wrapping paper, and then you trace it with a sharp pencil. And I take that tracing, and then I can essentially create the template of that shape using that life-size tracing. That's the best way.
Okay.
That's the best way. That's how we got Rogue. That's how we got the Rep one. That's how we got the Sornex one. It was just, hey man, take a piece of wrapping paper, a nice sharp pencil, trace the outline and the holes, and send me that wrapping paper, and I'll take it from there.
Okay.
So if I don't have a pattern, that's how I get the pattern. And I don't if you're coming to me with and you want a pattern that I don't have, that's not something I charge for, because now I have the pattern. So
Gotcha.
you'll end up also paying the same price for the header that you would get. I don't charge extra to trace the pattern, right? So now if you have a rack that doesn't have a logo cross member, it just has your standard 3x3 or 2x3 or 2x2 cross member. We're wide open on the design in terms of the shape of the header, right? Like a rectangular, just a rectangle header, or just like your basic rectangle with a nice arch in the middle, and then the degree of that arch is adjustable, because the way that we do those headers is they just magnetically attach in a similar way that these will magnetically attach, but we use a special bracket on the back side with rubberized magnets to attach it to a standard cross member. So in terms of shape for those that are magnetically attached, we're wide open. We could do any shape. We could do a custom shape. We could integrate the shape of your logo coming off the side of that header, coming off the bottom of that header. The world is wide open in terms of the actual shape of that header and what that looks like. So, yeah.
All right. So now, Matthew, you heard him say it too. He said, go over to the Iron Bull Strength booth, unbolt their rack, their
And don't
their
ask
Cubs
permission
member.
first.
Don't ask
Don't ask
permission.
permission. Just
You
do it.
heard him
wrapping
say,
paper.
and make sure, it'll be okay as long as they see you got the paper. They'll
Yeah.
they'll be fine. They
They'll
won't
know.
even ask you any questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just picturing a steady line of customers going and unbolting stuff with paper and drawing it, and then heading over to your booth with like their paper in their hand, like you're going up to the teacher with your homework, right? Okay, I hope that happens. Anyway, I would love it if that happened. I would laugh so hard. All right. Anyway, because the reason I asked that though is because I'm picturing people just showing up like with pictures on their cell phone. They're like, oh yeah, it's that one over there. Hey, I took a picture. This is what it looks like. You're like, yeah, I kind of need measurements, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and also, Jared pointed out that Canadians don't like conflict, so you should be fine. So just go. Yeah.
Exactly.
However, I will point out that they invented hockey. So they seem really nice, but they invented a sport where fighting is part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's a unique DNA profile where they're like, let's fight on ice skates and with sticks in our hands. I think that's awesome. Okay. Kevin from Japan says, if I get a cable system down the road, hopefully I can get my hands on those attachments. Hey man, look, as much stuff is starting to open up in Japan now, I think you got a pretty good shot at this. And actually, that goes back to something I was going to ask you, Matthew. We're going to have so many brands like ATX from Germany, Gentleman's Fitness Club, which still makes me nervous every time I Google search things. That makes me nervous, right? But they're going to be there. They're from Japan. Are you going to have time to even like go around and maybe check out brands like that to see about the compatibility of your stuff with those with products that are, primarily overseas?
Yeah, so I have my business partner will be there with me at HomeGymCon, and then I have a buddy that's gonna help me man the booth, so I can have an opportunity to kind of like go around and can kind of talk to other people and kind of see what they have and seeing if there's a potential connection or potential like way we can work together in the future.
Okay, because I'm looking at like, then you're gonna run into the same thing that brands that are trying to ship over here run into, is like the shipping and the cost and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've already had to ship a couple, or I have a couple that are going to be going out next week to Australia, and
Ooh,
and
that
I'm like
sounds rough.
yeah, the shipping. I'm like, they're like, yeah, I'll take it. It's the only one you're the only one that makes it what I want. So, and I'm like, okay,
What are you shipping though?
it's just the Eclipse grips. They want the colored handles.
Oh, okay. I was afraid
Yeah.
it was the arms. It's like your
Oh no. Yeah, this is just the
like the fly arms.
yeah,
I just imagine.
super small little box,
God.
but still, I think it was like $50 to get it shipped over there.
I tried to ship out a patch to someone, and because it was shipping, it was going to be $168 to England. Yeah. So I was like, you're not getting it today, but I'm not sending it. And then I ended up being able to send it. But what I did was, it was a patch. So what I did was I put it in an envelope as part of with a gift card. I'm sorry, with a thank you card. So I mailed it, right? So I used the card as kind of like protection for the patch a little bit. So I was able to mail it, and that was like whatever the cost for, like maybe $1.65, something like that, for a forever stamp. But whatever. The point is, I get it. Shipping is very expensive. What are you gonna say, Nate?
I was just going to say, since you brought up the topic of Australia, we don't accept returns from Australia because of the spiders there. So I would just like to clarify that before any orders get placed. Like, we don't accept returns from Australia because of the spiders. That's it.
Okay,
I mean, I'm in Florida. It's the same thing.
I was gonna mention you got alligators ringing your doorbell.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, every day Matthew, literally every day, Matthew sends me some other reason for why he should not live in Florida, right? And I'm at the point now where, like, why do you still live there? Like, if I wouldn't have made it past the first day, I saw, like, you were the one. I think you were the one that sent me the thing with the alligators ringing the doorbell, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and that happened to me. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we had an alligator out in the backyard eating some kind of stuffed owl thing he had. I was like, hey, okay. And then he's like, bear attacks, all kinds of things. I was like, why do you still live there? I don't even feel sorry for you anymore. I don't feel sorry. All I've done is I gave him information about houses that are for going up for sale in my neighborhood, which is in Georgia. I said it's completely under control. We're about 650 miles away from Florida, so you're far enough away that stuff, the crazy won't follow you. Okay, it'll get lost in South Georgia, and you should be fine. But you know, I can't help you, man. You can't help people that don't want to be helped. That's something that I needed to learn, and so I'm at peace with it now, and I just let Matthew live in Florida and risk death every day.
I'm just sharing my life with you. This is what I deal with every day.
And then that's when he's not stuck in traffic. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm stuck in traffic." So I'm like, okay. I'm like, why do you live there? Why do you live there? All right, in fact, you go live with Nate. Go live over where Nate lives, because they don't have traffic issues unless a horse runs a stop sign or something. Then that's an issue. And you think I'm making that up? I'm not making that up.
Now the only thing, you just got to be comfortable smelling manure. That's it. We got 12 acres. We got 12 acres of farmland right behind us. So when they spread manure, I mean, windows are closed.
Fair enough.
You think I'm making that up too? When I used to work for State Farm, occasionally I would get claims that I have to look at, and it might be from like Pennsylvania or something, and it literally was like buggy accidents. Like people would have wrecks with a buggy because people would basically go out, they drink, and then the horse takes them home. But horses don't recognize traffic lights, and so there's a ton of collisions all the time. So, but no alligators anywhere around. I can verify that. All right, All right. Let's go back to HomeGymCon. What you told me about people bringing the custom rack header or all that kind of stuff here, but do you really want them to like come over to your booth and just hand you like, hey, these are my dimensions to place the order, or
if you want to,
people like, or are you gonna have like a computer set up and people can place orders there? And that's actually the same question for you. Are you gonna be, Matthew? Are you gonna be? How are the sales gonna work for each of your booths when somebody comes to order something?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to give out the discount code at HomeGymCon. Like I actually had somebody message me yesterday. It was like, hey, I saw some of your like platforms are on sale because of HomeGymCon. I'd like to order a platform. And I was like, all right, order it at HomeGymCon, because like that's kind of the ticket is you have to be there to place the order to get the discount. That's like the point of the HomeGymCon discount, right? Like it doesn't do Jake any good if I'm giving people discounts because of HomeGymCon who are not going to HomeGymCon. So like it's kind of like, yeah, come to HomeGymCon. So yeah, I'm just gonna be giving out the discount code at HomeGymCon. I'll probably just have it on display at the table or something, like, you know, place the order today. Just do it on your phone, go to the website, place the order. Yeah, you can have a bar, buddy. I'm not bringing.
Is that my dude? Is that my dude? The one that was the assistant that had the signs he was holding up?
Yes.
Did you give him a raise? Because I
no, I just gave him a bar. It's fine. He got a bar. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm his union rep. Okay, you need to give that kid a raise. Anyway, go ahead.
For bars.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be simple. Like place the order on your phone right here. You know, use this discount code and donezo.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Carp
same.
said don't. So I'm sorry. Carp said don't sleep on the executive eco platforms.
Yeah, he probably means the econ. He probably means the econ platform.
Yeah,
we talked about it at Music City.
Yeah, he's using his phone, so he.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what were we gonna say, Matt? Go ahead.
Yeah. So for my booth, it'll be the same. Same thing. I'll have like the goal is to have a bunch of clips there so people can order, and I'll just have a discount code they can just put in and then just order on like through their phone, and then I'll just fulfill the order in person.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Is like you're gonna have a square or something like that, or they're gonna actually place the order on the website and then like I guess what is
probably
like a shipping option or something, and you just buy it right there.
Yeah, probably like QR code that just get, and then they have it where they have to they just put in the discount code when they order.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's see here, and all right. Next thing is, what do you guys have that's Carp mentioned like the platforms, the econ platform, and I really liked his little 2x8 or whatever platform they had. I really like that that you made. What do you have that's like? Is there anything new coming out besides the rack header or what did we call it? The rack sign?
The rack badge.
Yeah, the rack badge. Yeah. Let's see, I can't remember the name of it now. the rack badge. Do you have any other products that you got on the horizon you can tell us about?
I released the Econ platform, I think a few months ago at this point. I just made like one post about it. So this will be the second show that's at. The Econ platform is it's really simple. It's just super high quality rubber. It's a half inch thick, and same kind of concept. We integrate your logo into the rubber. So we can also then say, it's stand behind that one and say your logo will never peel up. But that's a good platform for like light duty, medium to light duty lifting, just because of the durometer of the rubber on it. And it's probably our least expensive customizable platform that we sell. Yeah, it's very, very basic.
Right,
You can
I'm
integrate
gonna
it in
pull
with
the
your
thing up.
floor.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up so people can see it because I like that. I actually was like raving about the your deadlift box thing more than I was about this. I thought I thought the Econ platform was cool because, like I told you when we did the video, and for the I meant to mention this, but right after this show is over, we're gonna do the premiere of the tour I did with you of your booth at Music City Fit Expo. So anybody who wants to like get like the guided tour of everything that Nate has, you just stay tuned right after this live stream is over, and it's going to premiere right into that video, so you guys can check it out. You don't want to miss that. All right, so this is right here on screen. You guys can see the Econ platform. It's a 4x8 platform, and as you were saying, it integrates right into the floor. How thick? So it's half-inch thick. Is that right, Nate?
Yeah. So the Econ platform is half-inch thick. Obviously, if you've got three-quarter stall mats, like it's not going to fit perfectly, but it fits good. You can put it on top of your stall mats, like you see there in the picture. I have it installed over top of some stall mats just for a little bit extra floor protection, but it's just really good durometer rubber. The durometer is like the measure of the density of it, and it's a good economical version, customizable economical version. You know what I mean? So you're not, something you can put in that's personal, that's custom to you, that has your logo on it. That isn't just another plain Jane platform. So yeah.
And the logo doesn't fade, it doesn't peel. It's gonna always, because it's integrated into the rubber, so it's not gonna go away. 50 Cal Fitness said this is a dynamic duo. Plus Porter's gym looks like he's doing R&D for Batman. This is awesome work, guys.
Hide that stuff in the back.
Yeah, I like that. So then Matthew, like you said, you had like 7 different products coming out. Out of those products, are they on the website yet? Are they going to be on the website? Is there any do you have any like images or anything you share with us?
So the TNT Hellbox is on the website. It's still in it's in pre-order right now. People are that should be shipping out in the next probably week or two for people that did the pre-order. And then I have another attachment. It's like a Sorry, I have an ambulance driving by my house. If I can hear that or not. But I have like a bicep tricep bar that there's going to be 5 of those at HomeGymCon. They're going to be they're aluminum. They rotate. They're going to be thicker handles. And they so there's going to be 5, and they're all going to have custom paint jobs as well. So they're all going to be using something called illusion paint. So I'll have some that'll be like phase shift paint that'll be like purple to green or like red to black. And those are all going to be one-offs. And then after HomeGymCon, that will be on the website for a pre-sale, and those will just be the ones that are on the website. At that point, will just be like the standard. The center will be black. It won't be any of the custom paint jobs.
Gotcha. Okay, and you said you will have Eclipse grips there.
Yep.
Okay. So everybody who's looking at this, it says sold out on the website, but if you go to HomeGymCon, they will be there at HomeGymCon.
I'm hoping actually to get them back out of stock hopefully next week. So I get caught up. It's been a little crazy with how many orders came through.
Hey, that's a good problem to have. And then let me ask you this too, because you send out those. Do you happen to have one of these? The little not an insert because it goes over on top. The little thing that goes on top of the comfort grip for the Eclipse grip.
Oh,
The little, yeah, you know, what I'm talking about the little thing that goes over the.
yeah. So that's basically just
Yeah,
a burnishable leather piece that you basically put over top, and then you can leave it where it doesn't have the adhesive on the bottom, or you can have it where it's double sided adhesive. I prefer where it is kind of stuck to the bottom, so it'll stay in one place. Because if not, it does spin a little bit. But over time, the leather will actually form to your hand. It kind of becomes like custom fit.
right. But you're gonna have those with you. Is what I'm saying.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. And my next question is, do you anticipate at some point making that just a permanent part of the Eclipse grip? So it's no longer an optional item. It's just that's just going to be the way that they go, the way
Um,
that they come.
Potentially, well, I'm gonna probably make it where it's if you purchase, you can like buy the Eclipse grip, and it's just an add-on purchase, and it's a little bit cheaper if you buy it with the handle
Okay.
versus buying separate. Just because they're so light, like shipping cost is
The cost of
essentially
the leather.
zero when they're with the handle. But if when you
Okay.
ship it without the handle, you end up having a couple bucks.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say somebody wants to keep up with everything that you guys have going on, especially if the people who aren't able to, for whatever reason, they're not able to attend HomeGymCon. If somebody wants to keep up with what you have going on, um, go ahead and give your contact information or whatever they need to do. I know that also if somebody wants to place an order with you, Nate, there's like and they have a custom order. It's not like just something they can just click on the website and buy. If it's something they want to customize, there's a little bit of a process. So starting with you, go ahead and describe the process of placing an order if somebody's not going to be at HomeGymCon.
Yeah, totally. On the website, we have a couple of different links that end up linking you to the same form. It's our custom products form. It'll ask for all your information, what product specifically you're looking for, and then if you send that, it obviously comes right to my email, and I get back to those within 24 hours. But if you just want to like watch and like stay up to date with what's going on, Instagram and YouTube are probably the best ways. Both of that is Executive Fit LLC is our username. And then if you subscribe to the newsletter on the website, you can just like you would subscribe to any other newsletter, any email. I send maybe like 1 or 2 emails a month. I don't do a lot of email marketing. I pretty much only send out an email when I have something to tell you, something to share, something new to showcase. So we're not going to blow up your email. Like I said, 1 or 2 a month. But yeah, the best way to if you place in an order for something that's custom, and you want to talk with me first, submit a quote through the website. But also know if you're like, no, I'll just purchase and we can talk later. We don't start production on anything custom until we get a yes, I like that layout. In terms of like the color of the logo, where the logo is, how it looks on the product. Pretty much everything gets a digital mock-up created before we even begin production. So if you're like, yep, I know, like, you know, I definitely want this rack header, I definitely want this deadlift box with my logo on it, you know, nothing gets done to the point of no return until we've got a yes from you. So
Okay. I with you see if I can. I got way too many things on the screen. All right, so Matthew, I want to talk about your YouTube channel a little bit because you do have the YouTube channel showing some of your products in action. So I'm talk about that and then talk about where people can go if they want to just keep up with what you have going on in general. So let's go and so it looks right now what I have, it shows that you've got like 2 videos on there, right?
It's
So
not
I know
much.
that this isn't something that you're really like been pushing. So if somebody wants to see what the
Hey.
Matthew Porter's Bat Cave looks like, this is accurate as of what 5 months ago.
Yeah, it's completely changed.
Oh yeah, nice. All right,
Already.
excellent. Nice. Oh, look, you got an SBR, I think that's kind of interesting. So is this something that you plan on doing more with, like maybe doing exercise demos to show like how the products work and things like that? Because that's what you said originally you were thinking about doing. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, so the plan right now is just I'm trying to catch up, but probably the next week or two, I'll start doing some like more like short form content for the YouTube, and getting that out there a little bit more exercise demos. Because some of the stuff, even my business partner, he's the one that brought this up to me. He has the clips handles. He literally only uses them for tricep push downs,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing he uses it for. And I'm like, you can do so much more with these handles. Like, why are you only doing this movement? And he was like, well, I don't know what else I can do with it. And I was like, all right, that kind of
I'm
proves
like,
to
you
me.
certainly have videos because you sent me tons of videos. Like,
Oh,
hey, try this. Hey, try this. He's like, Matthew tries to use me as a guinea pig for everything. Hey, I got an idea. Do this. Stop what you're doing now and do it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he stays off of Instagram a lot, so he like I'll send it over, and then he'll forget to check it, and then but he wants it on YouTube, so he doesn't get sucked into the constant like you just scrolling through Instagram. A little easier
Yeah.
to stay off of scroll, like kind of just mindless scrolling off of YouTube. I
Much
am
more
also trying to
searchable
get some
too.
more stuff on like TikTok as well. Eventually, try to connect like my Shopify to like the TikTok shop, so you can order through Shopify or sorry through TikTok. But that's all probably like after HomeGymCon things because I have to make sure that all these different attachments and everything get finished and everything's gonna be like down to the wire. I'll probably be finishing the last attachment probably the Monday before HomeGymCon, so it's gonna all be like down to the wire how everything gets finished.
Okay, first of all, so hold on. I'm not letting you slide. You've got the videos already. All you have to do is title them and upload them as a YouTube short.
Yeah.
They're like a minute long. He's talking like he's gotta I gotta get the camera crew out here and I gotta get the director paid. No, you've already got the videos on your phone. Just upload it and put it on. And I know that. Well, I'm assuming that some of it is because you want to have the time to kind of like put it up in a way like kind of like make sense with the product, and so you can do voiceovers and all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying like in terms of just YouTube Shorts, you could literally just put it up there and start building buzz without doing any. Basically, you do the exact same thing you did on Instagram and just post it on there, and it'll start generating like comments and questions and stuff. So
Yeah, it's like probably should do that.
Nate, he doesn't seem like that's actually happening. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll get to it anyway.
That was my plan with YouTube was more long form content, but if you go on YouTube, it's all shorts.
It's all shorts. Like you just throw the stuff like yeah, all right. He sounded like you did when you were like, yeah, man, I'll definitely get it out to you. Like,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's what that sounded like to me. All right, man. All right. So in general, if someone wants to keep up with everything that's going on at Porter Physed Fitness, how do they do that?
Yeah, so Instagram's going to be the most active. So that's Porter_Physed, and then through my website, and that's porterpef.com. And then there's the email contact there, so they can reach out. I am doing like if they want to like custom work. Sometimes if I have time, I can work on those kind of projects as well. But that's the main thing. It's going to be Porter_Physed for Instagram. That's kind of the main way to contact me.
All right, there you go. All right, well, I appreciate you guys coming on here. This was a lot of fun. I normally will not do what do you call it? Like I call it like a group panels or whatever, because it's so difficult to keep people like engaged when they're not the one talking. But I thought that for this would actually be really appropriate because you guys are both involved in the project to honor your brother Matthew and also the person that you lost. So I want to make sure that I got you guys both on here to talk about it. So I encourage people to support this. One more time, are these going to be at HomeGymCon? See how I'm trying to pin them down. Somehow or other, they're going to be at HomeGymCon.
My sample will.
Yeah, at least Matthews will be there.
A sample will be there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then somebody can order one, and then you said 50% of the proceeds are going to ADA. To go to the ADA. Okay, so that's perfect. All right. So I encourage you guys, even if you don't want to, you should go buy these guys' booths just to see their awesome products anyway. But even if you just want to support, go buy Matthew's booth and go buy Porter Physed Fitness. Go buy that booth and also go buy the Executive Fit booth so that you guys can support this awesome and worthy cause. All right. I appreciate you guys being on here, man.
I appreciate having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
All right, man.
All right, later. All right. So that is my guys, Nate and Matthew. This is a collaboration I did not anticipate, but I think it is one that is timely and important, and it's a worthy cause. So make sure you guys are following both of them on Instagram, and that you go ahead and subscribe to Matthew on YouTube, and he's got like 2 videos on there. So make sure you flood his comment section and tell him and demand more videos from him. All right. Now it is 7:55, so it's just about time to do our shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. So give a shout out to the Mountain Time Zone right now. Thank you guys for getting up way too early with Garage in Life. If you're watching on LinkedIn, do me a favor and check out the show page, Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. And if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit like and hit subscribe for me so that we can help the channel grow. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to the LinkedIn audience now. Next week, we're going to have Brian Fleck from Wait It Out, and he's going to be coming on to talk about his collaboration with Chris Duffin on the Duffalo Bar. He's going to be talking about the products that he's taking to HomeGymCon, so you guys do not want to miss that. All right. All right. So for those of you who are watching on LinkedIn, watching on YouTube, the show keeps on rolling on. It is time to react and respond. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First thing in react and respond, I mentioned Powerbell earlier in the show when I was talking about the list of vendors that had stuff available. And while that sounds, on the face of it, it's like, oh, okay, cool. But when I saw Powerbell, the first thing I thought of, shout out to Eminem, was, will the real Powerbell please stand up? Because I'm like, what do you mean Powerbell? And here's what I mean by that. So I don't know who this is or which Powerbell is going to actually arrive. So first of all, you've got the Powerbell by Power Body. And that's this product here. Okay. This looks kind of like just a straight up T handle, and you can use it for like sumo deadlifts, things like that. Straddle lifts, Romanian deadlifts, whatever. I guess they call it sumo squats, whatever. I call them Bulgarians. But this is the Powerbell. All right. It's a basic T handle. Then you've got the Weider Powerbell. Okay. And I know you're like, the what? Well, there's the Weider Powerbell. So Weider's Powerbells, it goes from 5 to 40 pounds. And these suckers, this looks like something you find in like Walmart. Okay, to be honest with you. But look at that. All right, let's get this in. All right. And there's a nice different shot of it. Goes from 5 to 40 pounds. All right. Copyright 2007, Weider Fitness. All right. And then there are the Power Dot Bells. Okay. So this is what's going to be at HomeGymCon. And you can see this. So right here, he's putting it together. And I'm looking at it like, remember, this is React Respond. So there you go. So that's the Power Dot Bell. Okay, you do whatever you want. You can hang it up on something if you want to. Okay. So yeah, it's another shot of it. Okay. Look. I don't hate. I'm not trying to come across, like there's the thing that old people do, right? No matter what you tell them, you get all excited. You're like, oh, I got this blah, 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 blah thing. And you're really excited about it. And they look at you and they say, that's nothing. Back in my day, we had whatever, right? I'm really, really trying not to be like that when I see some of this stuff. But like, is this something? I want to hear from you guys. I showed you guys 3 different designs for like adjustable kettlebells. Not to mention actual adjustable kettlebells that you can just unscrew the bottom or whatever and add weights in there, right? Is this something that moves the needle for y'all? Like and I'm curious, I actually am curious, what is the interest level across the home gym community for things like this? Because to me, it looks like some of these look like the innovations that we didn't ask for, right? I mean, for one thing, you know, the basic kettlebell design dates back to the 1700s. And the kettlebells that you see today essentially look the same because that design works, right? It is cool to see innovations, but I'm like, is this something? So Jared says, I look forward to trying them out. Rotating handles on dumbbells for accessory work is enjoyable. Excuse me. You would like those dumbbells from Watson. Because you grab the dumbbell handle and then the plate spin. So yeah, those are really cool. But I'm assuming you're talking about the power dot bells. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, I mean, I'll share the screen again. So I'm looking at it. It's like, all right, it does have the rotating handle. Yeah. You do all that stuff with it. Okay. And they're launching at HomeGymCon, to be clear. Okay, they're actually launching the product at HomeGymCon. So one of the questions is, this guy Brandon says, in the comments on the video, says, I wonder how it feels if you load it with like 100 pounds. So, and the person right above him says, I'm curious about the stress on the forearm if you use a heavier weight. So I think, and this is me never having touched it, tried it, or anything, right? I'm wondering if it's one, or I suspect that this is a product that kind of has a self-limiting factor. So people are like, well, I wonder how it's going to feel if I load up, I don't know, 100 pounds on it. And I'm like, I suspect that this is the sort of product that you can't load 100 pounds on, because from a leverage standpoint, it probably wouldn't work. And also, I'm looking at the length of the weight horn. It doesn't look like it's going to be able to accept that many plates anyway. But I think that goes back to, because of how leverage is going to work, I don't think that you're going to need a ton of weight in order to get a training effect. But I'm looking at it, when I say I don't know if this is something we asked for or whatever, is I'm looking at it like, all right, if you're in a home gym, as I'm assuming you are if you're watching the show, and your home gym space is limited, is this the thing you're ordering because you're like, oh, this is going to be the game changer I need for my training? Or is this something that kind of looks cool, you get it, and then it ends up just kind of sitting on the shelf or hanging on the wall and you never use it? So I think about like the U-Bell, okay? I don't know if you guys remember the U-Bell, but I actually happen to have one downstairs, and I'm going to tell you that I have not used this thing since I think I used it 3 times. All right. I think I used the U-Bell 3 times. So I use it so that's what it is, in case you guys are wondering. And it's like, oh, you can use it for a lot of different things. It makes swings easier. I got the 53-pound one. And just so you know, like when you flip it up in a position, these handles rotate, right? So like you do it like a normal kettlebell clean. When you do the clean and you go like that, the kettlebell is going to hit the back of your arm. It's going to stop. With the U-bell, there's nothing there, so you could actually the whole thing just rotate past your hand, and you have to be careful. What I liked about it was it forces you to stabilize. But man, ultimately, it ended up not giving me enough of a training effect for me to love it. In fact, shout out to Kurt from the Kurt Locker. I noticed that he likes his. So my plan is to just give him mine at HomeGymCon. Like, hey man, you like one, you probably like two. Here you go, and just give it to him. I mean, I didn't pay anything for mine, so I don't see any reason to charge him for it. I just give it to him. But that is to me is like kind of like where the power bell, the category of the power bell fits in. It's like something that, and I could be wrong. I could try it and be like, oh man, this is great. But again, I say some of this stuff that comes out, man, it's like, I think that we can sit, like sometimes we get like in our head. So like we're in our home gym, we're tinkering around like, oh, I wonder if I could do this. And then you realize like you spend a ton of time coming up with the idea, like I wonder if I could do this. And then you finally do it, but it never occurs. You're so wrapped up in designing the product that it never occurs to you to ask yourself whether this is the most effective way to do that exercise, or if it was more of a glorified thought experiment, right? I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could hook this up to do this. You know what I mean? And so we enjoy like the process of creating the thing, but that doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily enjoy the process of actually using it, right? So that's my current reaction for all of the different kinds of power bell variant, whatever the thing called power bell is. That's my current reaction. I could be proven wrong, and I look forward to being wrong. But right now, I'm just like, yeah. All right, now, next thing. And this kind of goes back to something that Carlos was talking about earlier, talking about your bench, Carlos. So I reached out to the brand that is doing the providing Carlos's bench. Like, hey, how come he doesn't have his bench yet? And they told me that the reason is because they shipped his bench to him freight and residential freight. And I was like, okay, so that's when I found out that residential freight takes longer. It's funny because you would think that that's something I would know, especially because I do this. But it never, all I knew about freight was if you order something residential freight, is going to be more protected. So you're not going to have, you most likely won't have issues with your stuff showing up damaged. And I've had multiple videos and YouTube shorts here on the channel where I talk about stuff where I complain. All right, listen, let's be honest. I complain because stuff shows up and the box is torn up, and I'm like, why is FedEx so bad at their job? Why can't UPS do a better job? Why is the postal service horrible? Right? Because the boxes showed up and they look like somebody ran a cheese grater over them. Well, if you ship freight, residential freight, you typically don't have that problem because it comes in a crate. So you might still have boxes, but the boxes are inside a crate, and the crate absorbs the damage. So the boxes don't get damaged, which means that the product doesn't get damaged either. What I didn't know is it takes longer. Because I started thinking, I said, well, why don't brands just ship residential freight all the time? All right. And so let me start. So if you I did like if you do like the Google thing, like, well, there's freight and there's delivery, right? What's the difference? So freight is typically, that's how you would do bulk shipments, and delivery is supposed to handle individual packages. So when you order something and it comes and it has multiple boxes and it comes delivery, you might not get all your boxes on the same day because the shipping carrier is going to divide the boxes up according to how it affects the load on the truck. So each truck is designed to hold a certain number of boxes and a certain amount of weight in order to be fuel efficient. And if you have 5 boxes in a shipment, and let's say 3 boxes, because they're not shipping just your stuff, right? So they put 3 of your boxes on and they're like, oh, that's it. That's our threshold. If we put any more boxes on, that's going to go over the load limit. Then your remaining 2 boxes in this scenario wouldn't get shipped out till the next day. Okay, because they're not going to make a special trip just to take your 2 boxes to your house. And the truck for your route is, I just said, is already full, right? So you'll get your box, your 2 boxes, your remaining 2 boxes the next day. A lot of us have experienced that, but that's why that happens. With freight, you've got multiple stuff and it's all in the same crate. So in the scenario I picked, there's 5 boxes. They're all going to be in one shipping crate and they're all going to arrive at your house at the same time. But as for why brands don't just ship residential freight, number one, there's a price increase. There's often a price increase. And part of that is because, and again, I know this is one of those things that's not like super exciting because we're talking about freight and shipping and whatever, but this is one of those things that most channels aren't going to tell you. Okay? They're going to tell you, it's not some, I think that this is part of making an educated consumer. So we could talk about knurling and UHMW or whatever all day because that's what's popular, but it's not going to help you be a better consumer. So I'm telling you this because I think it makes you a better, more informed consumer so you can spend your money more intelligently. Okay. So if you decide to get something shipped to you residential freight, you might incur what's called a residential address surcharge. And that is the cost that some carriers will apply because it accounts for the extra effort to deliver the freight directly to an apartment or a house. So normally if you're shipping freight, it's going to go to like a commercial location with a loading dock, plenty of room, but when it's residential freight, that may not be the case. So I'll give you an example. My Iron Bull strength power rack that I have downstairs was shipped residential freight. Okay. It came on the back of a tractor trailer. And in fact, it was the last item delivered that day. So it was funny because we opened up the back of the tractor trailer and there's this crate in there and that's it. And when I say we, I mean we, because I had to help unload it. So the guy pulls this truck into my subdivision and there wasn't enough room for him to take his truck up to the driveway. Oh, okay. I see that, Carlos. Okay. I'll get to you in a second. That actually applies. So the truck couldn't get into my driveway, right? So he had to park in my cul-de-sac, and then he had to use a pallet jack because the crate had like the little holes in it for pallet, and so we come down, and then we had to use that. He had to push it up the driveway, and then I had to help him get the crate inside the house. So we open up the garage door, help him get inside the house. Now imagine you live in an apartment, right? That's a complication. So Carlos said his recliner rage. He was talking about recliner rage earlier. He said because he got a call that came up as spam, and he almost didn't answer it. So the shipping carrier, when you have something delivered to you residential freight, the carrier has to contact you because they need to know stuff like how long is your driveway. Well, first of all, is somebody gonna be home? How long is your driveway? How wide is your driveway? Is it possible to get the truck all the way up to the house? A whole lot of different things that they'll need to know in order to facilitate delivering your items, right? I was talking to Ashton at Freedom Fitness, and he said shipping freight takes significantly longer than residential delivery because the shipping carriers, if they see something's going to like your address, they're gonna look because of, again, saving fuel costs. They're gonna try to wait until they have something else going to that area. Because as I said, you think about it, a power rack is a fairly large item, right? But it still doesn't fill up an entire tractor trailer. So they try to wait until they've got multiple items going to as close as possible to your address before they ship, just so they're not wasting money in their mind on sending a truck that's got one thing on it, and that to them is a waste of fuel. So I remember when Iron Bull Strength said they're going to send the rack out to me, I was like, why is it taking so long for this rack to get here? Okay, because they send it out residential freight. And there's actually nothing the brand can really do to control that, because once they give it to the carrier, that's it. There's also the time for shipping is extended because you have to basically, so like Bells of Steel says that it takes longer whenever if you ship something residential freight with Bells of Steel, it takes longer because they have to put everything in the crate, they have to strap it, wrap it securely, make sure nothing's going to be moving around, because they don't want the stuff that's inside the crate to move around and bust holes in the crate, right? So the packing is a little bit more intensive and involved if you're shipping residential freight than if you're shipping normal just delivery, okay, individual package delivery. I could not find specific information on freight requirements and restrictions from the other brands. I did look at Rep Fitness. I did look at Rogue. Hair on my face. Anyway, I looked at Rep, I looked at Rogue, but I couldn't find any specific information from them about their residential freight requirements. But I gotta assume that it's a similar situation. That if you're going to be shipping residential freight with one of the other brand, with any brand, you got to build in extra time for the stuff to be delivered, because residential freight is so much more involved. But your stuff is going to show up and it's most likely not going to be damaged. So there's your trade-off. I'll say, in fact, I did find out Watson Gym Equipment. They actually have a video on their YouTube channel where they talk about order fulfillment and shipping. You know that Watson Gym Equipment has a ton of stuff that's selectorized machines. There's a lot of big stuff that would normally ship freight, and they usually will contact customers, or they have to contact customers to find out the size of the driveway. Is there a gate? Is this like a gated community or an apartment complex with a gate? Are there any mitigating factors that would affect being able to get stuff delivered directly to your door, right? So Watson does ship freight as well, and that's the guidelines for the. So anyway, I'm just saying, is that a trade-off that we're willing to like? That I want to hear from you guys. Are you willing to wait longer for something because it's more likely to show up in better shape, or are you comfortable with ordering something and realizing that the box might show up damaged, but it's going to show up a whole lot faster? Which way works better? Which one is better for you guys? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on it, because this isn't something that I've seen discussed anywhere. Most of the times, whenever shipping comes up, it's pretty much people just, well, and to be fair, because I'm part of it, most of it is people just complaining, right? And I'm part of that. I'm part of that whole whatever. People just mad, like, man, why does it show up and it's damaged? Is that something that is which one is more important to you? Getting it on time, or getting it faster, or getting it with minimal damage? Let's check out the comments. So Jameson said, I'm used to waiting long times. He said, I'm fine waiting longer for more weatherproof packaging, as I'm usually not home during delivery time, so that way it gets protection from rain. Okay, I see that. All right, when my son got the power rack from Major Fitness, it showed up in a shipping crate, and they left it. So he's also in a cul-de-sac, but the beauty of it is, like, his cul-de-sac allows you to basically, they were able to drop it off right there at his garage door. Right, there's not like a long driveway from the cul-de-sac. So like, it's 180 feet from my mailbox to my garage door. Okay, I know that because we marked it off one day when we used to do sled drags and whatnot up and down and bear crawls. So it's 180 feet one way. My son, 40 feet, maybe, from the cul-de-sac to his, maybe 50 to 60 feet from the cul-de-sac to his garage door. Let's see here. Jared says, how I would approach it is I'd read all the reviews and see if that was a common issue or not. If not, I probably prefer getting it sooner. Okay. But you got to think about it too, Jared. It's not necessarily the carrier. I'm sorry, it's not necessarily the brand. It's the carrier. So I guess you could say, well, is this a product that's being shipped that UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service, whatever, has a problem with? I'm thinking like maybe if it's some sort of like something with an arm, so like it's more likely to bust through the box. But I mean, you're kind of at the mercy of the carrier if you're the brand, once you ship it out. And I remember I was talking to Sean Crandall from Crandall Fitness, and he's like, you ship out a thing and then it gets damaged. He says, so then we have to send out a new one. So that costs us money. And then we have to get all the information so we can try, as in attempt, to get a refund from the shipping carrier, which doesn't always happen. But yeah, I guess you can still find out what you need to know by just seeing if that particular product has a lot of has a history of showing up damaged, regardless of the carrier. Carlos said, I don't think it'd be a problem unless it's a time-sensitive item. Okay. But then that goes back to it, like, you got the robocall or you got the call, you're like, what is this? This shows up as spam. Because you've never gotten a call from this company before. You know who this is. You don't recognize the number. It's probably some area code you've never heard of. You're like, who is this? Right? So that's going to extend the time too. Right? Carlos said, so Carlos is like, hey, my situation is fine because they should be able to park about 20 feet from my front door. Okay, good enough. Jameson said if they had lineups of the employees, it would be easy to choose whoever hires the more jacked workers, less damage for sure. Dude, I'm just going to tell you flat out. When I worked for UPS back in 1991, 1991, we were like, we would get behind, and it was nothing for us to like just yank on the pile, and all the boxes just came tumbling down onto the belt, and then you just pick up stuff off the belt and get it on the belt because we're running behind schedule, and it was the pressure was on to get stuff unloaded and loaded onto the next truck as quickly as possible, right? So it doesn't really even have anything to do with whether you can pick up the stuff and handle it, because we could. It was like we got in a hurry because you're like, all right, so let's say a truck shows up and there was a traffic jam, there was a wreck on the highway, right? The truck shows up and the truck is delayed because there was a wreck on the highway. So now the truck pulls in and it's 20 minutes late. Well, the next truck's got to go out. So that means we got to hurry up and unload this truck so that they can get the next truck is going to go all the way down the belt, go around to the next truck, the truck that it's got to go on, or else everything's behind, right? And that's one thing they didn't want. They don't want stuff to be behind. So that's where the speed and I would say a lot of the box damage comes in because of stuff like that. Because I'm telling you right now, when I worked at UPS, the load limit was 70 pounds. Now, some of the stuff could be awkwardly shaped, but it was 70 pounds or less, right? And you haven't lived until you've like lifted up the slats on the back of a tractor trailer. You get in the back and you got to lift up the slats, jump down in there, and now you're lifting stuff out and putting it up and onto the belt. Yeah, good times. Not really at all. But I'm just saying that you end up seeing a lot of box damage because of that. So, and I would assume that it's like that for every one of the carriers because they're all kind of building their reputation on getting products to you fast, right? Because additionally, they're all competing against Amazon, and Amazon typically gets stuff to you really, really quickly. Amazon, I would say, so FedEx put pressure on the Postal Service when they first came out. UPS came along. I don't remember if FedEx or UPS was first. But I'm saying is each one of them put pressure on the Postal Service. But when Amazon got into it, and especially when you get Prime delivery and all that, yeah. I'm just telling you, man. I'm telling you, that is you're like, hey, we're running. You can get fired for falling behind, right? So that's why you see sometimes, especially around Christmas time, you see these dudes jumping out of the trucks and sprinting to your door with a package, drop it off, turn around, and sprint back because you can get fired for missing the delivery window. And I don't remember who said it, but apparently there's like a timer for how long you should be at each address dropping off stuff, right? And so I think that's what leads to the most of the box damage. It's not that they can't carry the weight, the packages. Because man, we got this box. We had another wall control panel show up, and it's one of the horizontal panels, and it said on it, it's a team lift. My 9-year-old daughter picked it up, took it upstairs, and she was like, "What does this say, mommy?" And my wife was like, "Oh, it said you should have got somebody to help you." My daughter was like, "Why? It's not heavy." All right, so it's got nothing to do with the weight, and it has everything to do with the fact that they're in a hurry. Jameson said that 4-6 Fitness said on the live that packaging is his biggest expense. Yes, because you've got to pack. You kind of have to like carrier proof the product that you're sending out if you're going to be sending it delivered. And now that I mentioned that Major Fitness shipped that product to my son freight, now I want to know, because I didn't think about it until I said that. I want to know if they've got anything special about their shipping that you need to know. So I do not see anything specific to it. I mean, there's like the order tracking thing. Let's see, there's a FAQ. No. Nah, there's not. All right. And that's what I run into when I checked most of the shipping from most of the brands. They didn't have anything you could click to just see what their policy was as far as shipping, or even if residential freight was an option. I assume that that's the deal. But again, I've gotten plenty of power racks because of reviews. I've gotten plenty of power racks in that were shipped delivery, and they show up in the boxes of damage. So I can't automatically assume that everything's going to come residential freight. But to me, that's part of the problem. Because if I order something and it's going to be residential freight, I would like to know. So I know it's going to take a while before I get it. I hope that makes sense. But a lot of times you order something and you have no idea if it's coming freight or not. So you just know it's taking a long time. And you're sitting at the house waiting for it. You're like, well, where is this thing? And why does it matter? Because let's go back to Recliner Race today. When leggings hadn't shown up 11 days later, I still didn't have a tracking number. So sometimes it's not that it's. So basically, I'm saying that you need to know how long something's going to take, because sometimes there's just a glitch in the system. So I'd like to know if I order something, if it's coming residential freight, but still give me a tracking number so I can at least track and see what is taking so long, right? And if I know it's coming freight, I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, fine, right? But a lot of times you have no way of knowing until after the fact. So I would like to see more companies put that information on their website. Oh, wait a minute, shipping policy. I found it. So I'm looking here. So they said that they only use UPS and FedEx. So they select the nearest delivery warehouse and the logistic carrier that matches that delivery warehouse. And they ship products within 2 to 3 working days. Okay. I'm looking right now to see. I mean, there's no reason to sharing the screen if it's not on there. I'm looking to see if they have anything about residential freight or whatever. And the answer to that is no. Okay. And I even I went to like Rogue Fitness because they've got the 3 ships free thing. But they didn't have anything specific about shipping, about differentiating residential freight and just normal delivery packages either. So there's that. Carlos said the tech that I get for review comes FedEx or UPS mostly because it's usually time sensitive, and the review needs to be done pretty dang quickly. Yeah, I mean, so that's small stuff. I'm talking about like bigger items. So, well, like the bench that you're getting, anything that could be damaged from the standpoint of something that's got upholstery. If you're getting like electronics, you shouldn't have to have that ship freight, because theoretically the box is packed well enough that it's not going to get damaged, and it's usually small. I guess unless it's like a TV or something, but I don't know most people who order TVs like that. Is there somebody, like, are there people who order TVs from like Amazon or whatever? My impression is that you just go to like Costco or Sam's or whatever local place has them and just pick out the one you want. And if there's delivery involved, it's from that store and they're going to deliver it to your house. So it's not quite the same thing. But yeah, that, anyway, I just figured you guys might be interested in hearing about that. because it kind of goes along with what I was saying before about I want to tell you guys about things that make you a more educated consumer, and to me that includes the whole thing about how your stuff actually gets shipped to you. Carlos said, I did say usually though. Yeah, I know you said, see, Carlos, I know you said usually. I'm just saying that usually this stuff is smaller, but okay, so like sound bars, yes. So I can see a sound bar being something bigger. Maybe it's getting shipped residential freight, but I'm still like, okay, I'm picturing this as like stuff that's got multiple parts. So like a bench, like when you look at it as a bench, but it's actually the pad, the frame, obviously the bolts, and depending on what kind of bench it is, it may have other additional components. And each one of those components that I just named comes in some sort of box or container. So those parts could, if they're shipped delivery, come on different days. But if they're shipped normal ship, but if they're shipped residential freight, they're gonna all come in the same crate. That's kind of what I mean. All right, you know what I mean, man. You're not gonna get like what do you know with a TV? What is it? The TV comes one day and the remote control comes the next day. No, it's all gonna be in the same box. So that's why I mean that it's not gonna be. I don't necessarily see that a television would be like, or a monitor would be residential freight. It's possible, but I just don't necessarily see that actually happen. Right? I know you trolling, Carlos. I know you trolling. Okay. Now, we are almost at the end of the show, so this is going to be it's going to be you pick the topic. Okay? So this is a segment that we do from time to time. I try to do at least once a month. I don't think I managed to do it in May because I just kept on running out of time. But I know that I knew that today was going to be a lighter day. There's not as much coming out from companies as far as sales and stuff right now. So I knew this was going to be a lighter day. So we've got, let's give you some parameters. If you have a home gym related topic that you'd like to talk about, we've got about 20 minutes to go over that topic. It can be whatever you want. And just start getting your, well, I lied. You got about 15 minutes. No, you got about 10 minutes. Yes, you got about 10, you got about 10 minutes because I still have other stuff that we're going to do, but you got about 10 minutes to do, you pick the topic. So I'm going to be looking in the live chat, and if you throw up a comment that has a topic you want to talk about, we can address it. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to go and look at something that we haven't looked at in a while. And that is the comments from you guys. Okay. Now, this is always a dangerous thing because there's no telling what people are saying in the comments. So let's go ahead. We're going to go. You're going behind the scenes. All right. This is my community tab. So when I say we're going to check out the comments, it's basically, these are the comments from all the stuff that you guys have left on any of my published YouTube videos. Okay. Now, first thing is, this is also a very good time for me to check and see if there are any comments that have been held, which means I wouldn't have seen them. Okay. And YouTube usually holds comments based upon whether it's got something offensive or they think it's spam or something like that. All right. So it looks like there's nothing there. All right. We're good to go. All right. So this is a comment on not actually my video, but it's Carp replying to my comment on his video review of the Garage Gorilla bar. That's a bar. He said, glad you guys created this bar. And I said, I'm blessed to know David. He's one of the select few who could have created it. And I don't think that everybody out there who creates who manufactures bars and things would have thought of all of the intricate details that make it special, like centering the bar and things like that. No Fate 24/7 said on my my booth tour for Right Fitness. He said, this man had me an American made, but dang, a lifetime warranty, so that means business. That's true. And I said, and he goes on to say, I don't know why more companies are afraid of lifetime warranties, especially things like bumpers or dumbbells that have no moving parts. And I said, and I still do believe this, I suspect that those brands that don't offer lifetime warranties started out not offering lifetime warranties because they weren't afraid of legitimate warranty claims. But I think that they're afraid that there's going to be a whole bunch of fraudulent claims, and they didn't want to have to dedicate their manpower to figure out which ones are fraudulent, which ones are not. And they probably thought, hey, it costs too much to offer a lifetime warranty. But as you can see from brands that have been in business a long time, which do offer lifetime warranties, like Body Solid, Right Fitness, it won't kill your bottom line, and it can serve as a way to level the playing field. If you've got a smaller company and you're trying to compete against companies that are bigger and that spend a lot of their money on marketing budgets, then having a lifetime warranty gives you a good way to compete. We got more comments about Right Fitness. So Home Gym Harry said that Right's fat bar looks incredible with the rotating Olympic sleeves. My guy Rocco Walsh, Strong Fit Active, says, I love their products. He said, I've had 2 Right equipment bars that I use 4 to 5 days a week. Awesome durability. We had a comment about what I said about lurkers, right? Mrs. Nell said she was laughing at me singing. That I love the Calm Down song. It said having kids with the internet is rough. Parental control is a must. So, but last thing is sometimes people just won't comment because they're just watchers. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And I reiterate that a lot of shows end because, or a lot of channels end because we feel like nobody cares. Like, hey, I'm talking, trying to give you something that I think is informative, is helpful, and then I don't get any feedback. At some point, you start getting the feeling like, oh man, I'm wasting my time. I should just quit doing this and do something else, right? And so that's why I appreciate it when I do have people who make comments, right? All right, okay. So there's I got a bunch of like the at-home internet coaches. I don't even bother with that right now. Kurt Locker is talking about Freedom Strength Co. He said, these are my favorite sandbags for sure. So that's correct. Let's see. Here's a good exchange. So this guy named Wadsworth. So you remember I told you guys that I try to be nice to people when they ask me questions. But sometimes somebody asks me a question in a way that comes across rudely. So then I respond in a way I'm a little bit more apt to snap back on them. And then when the way I respond makes them kind of feel some kind of way, right? So I was talking, so he actually pulled up my first video with JB that I did at HomeGymCon where I interviewed JB from Freedom Strength Code, right? He says, well, why should one consider these over the tried and tested likes of Rogue, Cerberus, and Ironmind? So first of all, when you just start with that, I immediately take it as like you're attacking me, okay? Because he didn't say, hey, man, I was watching the video and I got a question. Or what some people say, hey, man, enjoyed the video, but I have a question. You don't have to say you enjoyed the video if you didn't enjoy the video. But if you start out with immediately, well, why should I consider this over a tried and tested product? Like, basically, I take it as you say, why should I be wasting my time and money on this thing I've never heard of, right? Like, it's almost like he's attacking my judgment, right? I'm like, all right. So I said, if you look at the specs and rating, Freedom Strength sandbags actually outperform the brands you mentioned in every contest where I've seen them used alongside the bigger names. And that's true. JB, the owner of Freedom Strength, just doesn't have the marketing budget that Rogue and Cerberus do. And I mean that. And I'm serious about that marketing budget thing. How many times, and you guys can test this at home, how many times do you Google something that's got to do with exercise equipment and Rogue pops up as the answer, as the number one answer? I promise you that's not because they're the actual solution. It's because they've paid Google to make them the number one response whenever exercise equipment is mentioned. Most brands don't have the money to compete with that. And most people are not savvy enough online shoppers to know that it's not the first. In fact, I'll do it right now. Let's see. So sandbags. Let's see. Let's go. Fitness sandbags. All right. So for me, what popped up first is Freedom Strength Co. Okay. But what's above that? Rogue Echo Sandbag, right? That is paid. So although right there you can see that JB paid, because this is Freedom Strength Co. It says sponsored. JB paid. He still wasn't able to pay enough money to be above Rogue. So if somebody doesn't know any better, they'll just assume that Rogue is better because this is the first response. When actually, and Rep Fitness also paid money. Great, great, great. All right. Actually, this right here with Titan Fitness is the first organic response in this list. And then Go Ruck is the next organic response because it's the first response that's not sponsored. Okay, let's try functional trainer. All right, so functional trainer sponsored. Rep Fitness, GetRx, Rogue, Titan Fitness. All of these were paid. All right. The first organic response is the Rep Fitness one that's down here. So most people don't realize that when you see a response for something, that doesn't mean that's the best product. It just means that that brand paid money to pop up first, right? All right. So having said that, let's go back to the comment. Because it says it's the tried and tested likes of Rogue, Cerberus, and Ironmind, right? And so I was like, look, JB doesn't have a marketing budget that Rogue and Cerberus do. And to be honest with you, Ironmind's main advantage is that they started doing sandbags for everybody else. So I wouldn't say Ironmind markets well, but they've just got the advantage of name recognition because they came around when nobody else was doing it. The sandbags and Freedom Strength coach are easier to fill than Ironmind sandbags. And if you've never used an Ironmind sandbag, you have to like zip, not zip. You have to duct tape the bag closed, right? So typically people will put the sand in like a trash bag. So put the trash bag inside the Ironmind sandbag, then they fill it up with sand, then they duct tape that closed, then they duct tape the Ironmind sandbag closed. Okay. The Freedom Strength Co. sandbags are a lot more user-friendly because they got a zipper. So I'm like, and I was like, look, do your own research, man. Go check this stuff out. It's like, I'm not getting paid a dime to tell you that JB sandbags are better than, or at the very least stand shoulder. I think they're better, but you could make an argument that they at least stand shoulder to shoulder with Cerberus, and I'm gonna still say they're better than Rogue, but they stand shoulder to shoulder with Cerberus. And in fact, there have been competitions where Freedom Strength Co. sandbags were used, and people thought that they were Cerberus, and they actually called them Cerberus sandbags. So I said, don't confuse the size of a marketing budget with the quality of the product. So now he's in his feelings. So I'm not confusing anything. I just want to ask what makes it a good alternative to the bigger names. Rogue sandbags are made in the USA, which is not something to be taken lightly. They have the budget to back it up, but it still speaks to their commitment to stay as much American made as possible. And he said, and I'm not even American. Now, that's why I started reading that. Because this dude argued with me about American made and all this other stuff, right? Turns out he doesn't even live in the States. He's not American. He lives in the UK. So I'm like, what are you arguing me about something being USA made for if you can't even get it? Like, why does it matter to you? Like, that makes no sense to me. Rory said, shout out to Rory. What's up, man? Hey, you see what I got on, right? See that? I thought you noticed that. Appreciate it. Shout out to Roman Strength. Saw him at Music City Fit Expo, and he hooked me up with this shirt. But he says, for a while, you could literally search for Rep Fitness and Rogue Fitness will pop up first. Yes, because they pay the money. Too often, I think that we think that these are the best brands because they're willing to spend the money to be the first name you think about. Kind of like Starbucks. Starbucks spent their money to have restaurants everywhere because when you thought coffee, they wanted you to think about Starbucks. Like, they want you to immediately think about Starbucks. Kind of like here in the South, people say, I'm gonna go have a Coke, and they actually mean I want a soda. But because Coca-Cola is made here in Georgia, it's kind of like a synonym for Coke. I mean, it's a synonym. Coke is a synonym for soda, right? So you could be actually getting a ginger ale, or heck, you might be getting a Pepsi, but you say, I'm gonna go have a Coke, right? And it's because a lot of it is just marketing. So that's the same thing with the home gym community, man. Like, don't assume that because a brand is smaller, that their product is inferior. And also, I also say too, don't assume that just because a brand is smaller that their product is superior. Yeah, they might be they might be a small one-person shop and they've got the time to create one-of-a-kind, custom, one-off things that are unique or whatever. But one person can screw up just like a company full of 50. You still got to go. Like, I think Jared is the one who said, or it's like you got to read the reviews on the products. And notice I didn't say watch the product reviews, because a lot of times, and this is from somebody who's a product reviewer, a lot of times those reviews are biased. And even if they're not biased because the company paid you to say good stuff about them, but it's limited to the experiences that the reviewer has. So, for example, if you ask me about something and ask me if it was better than dialed motion, I just pulled that out of the air. I don't know, because I've never used any of the dialed motion products. So I couldn't tell you if this product is better than dialed motion or not. And a lot of people who do what I do it's like they have an allergy to saying I don't know. Instead, because I guess it makes it look like they're not the expert. I don't care. I just say I don't know. But they'll say, well, I know that I've heard that, and I've seen on their website, like, they basically say some junk that anybody could say, right? They give you like a non-answer because they want to seem like the subject matter expert. So all I'm telling you is, don't just watching reviews isn't doing research. I would say you need to read reviews, check specs and things like that. And even then, a lot of times that's not going to be enough. But so that was like this long exchange, and I was just like, look, yeah. And in case you're wondering, for that guy, I still went back and told him, if you got a choice and you're in where you live, a lot of this isn't available, I will go with servers. See if I got anything else. Let's see, moving along. Let's see if we got any more. Got time for one. All right, that looks like that was like the most. That was like the only. I wouldn't say. Oh yeah, here's another. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's like out of pocket. In here. I don't see anything. Okay. Now we do have like there. I got a couple comments that are in a foreign language, and I did the translation. And it was like some random, unrelated comment. Like this dude was talking about how. So I had a video talking about squatting, and this guy talking about how he hurt his back. Like, man, I don't care about your back. Okay. What's that got to do with me squatting? He basically he hurt his back in high school. Literally, he said I hurt my back in high school. All right, okay. Sorry. Whatever. All right, so you guys now have 5 minutes to do. You pick the topic. And if I don't see anything, then we'll just go ahead and wrap the show up. I will tell you that once again, coming up right after this live stream is over, I'm trying something new. I told Carlos I was going to try this because I'm not sure if you guys prefer having the upload videos premiere on Fridays after this show, because then that could end up being a long time where you're hearing my voice, right? And I mean, as much as I love my voice, I get sick of hearing it eventually. So I'm looking to get feedback from you guys. Like, the video is about to pop up, and it's going to be the video with my tour with of the Executive Fit booth. Drop a comment and let me know in that video if you like having the uploads, like booth tours, product reviews, all that kind of stuff. If you like having them uploaded on Tuesday, like we have been doing, or if you prefer having them come up as premiere videos right after the live streams are over. Because I would, because then I would want to, I'll make that change, the change permanent. If you guys want. Carp said, yeah, back when Rep Fitness was charging shipping and they had residential shipping, a lot of items were cheaper before they packed in shipping, because once you had a certain weight threshold, you're already on a pallet, you can put whatever you want on that pallet, like 700 pounds of plates, and it's still shipped for the same cost. Yeah, so there's an advantage of residential shipping, because to your point, it's like you're on the pallet, so you can send a bunch of stuff all at once. So I think residential freight is an option if you are buying a bunch of stuff from one brand. You could probably just assume that it's going to come freight, but sometimes that's not the case. I just think they should let us know. Just let us know, is this shipping freight? And if it is shipping freight, what's the name of the company? Because then I know I need to pay attention to pay attention, because I'm going to be getting a phone call from them to arrange delivery. And like Carlos almost missed his delivery because he didn't realize he was going to be getting something shipped freight to him, and that he needed to watch out for a phone call from an unfamiliar number. All right. Anyway, so back to what I was going to say. It's a good point. All right. So that's our show. Thank you to my guest, Nate Woods from Executive Fit LLC, and Matthew Porter from Porter Physed Fitness. One more time, if you haven't done so, please support the show by liking the video, subscribing to us on YouTube, give us a follow on LinkedIn at Upway Too Early with Garage of Life. And next week, we got Brian Fleck from Wait It Out. He's going to be joining us. He'll talk about his extensive list of new products. I mean, he's got J cups, even thinner, change plates, just all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, it's collaboration with Kabuki. As always, share this episode with somebody who might enjoy it, and make sure that you set your alarm clocks to get up way too early with Garage Life next Friday. Don't forget, stay tuned to this channel for the premiere of our booth tour with Executive Fit from the Music City Fit Expo. I had a great time checking out these product lines in depth, and I think that you guys will enjoy it as well, especially since we just had Nate on. So until next week, I want you guys to keep on stacking days. Peace out.